Alright, is it working?
Hey.
Oh, it's working.
It is.
Woo!
Alright, let's do the intro. Woohoo! Hey guys, we're back.
It's us again.
We're back.
And me.
And Brian's here.
Special guest Brian, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm their roommate, Brian.
Oh,
That's about all I got to say.
I forgot to make the name for his section. It's the Brian...
Brian Coxman Power Hour.
It's the Brian Power Hour. The BPH. Brian's per hour.
Per hour? Is that a
Brian
new
per
speed
hour.
measurement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many lengths of Brian
Yes.
can you go in
Because
an
this
hour?
is going to take an extra hour just to get through Brian's segment.
My bad.
Let's...
It's kind of both of our faults, because both Brian and I were just like, oh, we're going to pick something small and short and everything's going to be fine. And then meanwhile, 4 pages of notes
They did
later,
not.
we're
Yeah, I
like,
was going to say, I ended
They
up
did
finding
not.
way more than I planned to.
Oh, well. That's the fun in it. Right, Brian?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
How do we want to do the orders? Because we didn't talk about that yet.
It
I think you should go last.
Damn. Didn't realize I was that uncool.
You know?
Well, you're the special guest. So
That's
when
fair,
do
I
you
suppose.
when do you want to go? Do you want to start us off?
I don't really have too much of a preference, to be honest. I don't even know how I'm going to preface most of it, but then again, it's not like you guys rehearse or anything, so...
No.
That's part of the joy of it.
Is it just a fuck it, we ball?
Yeah, it is a fuck it, we roll.
Oh my god! So are you going first then?
I'll go, like, second.
You go second? You want a little tutorial first?
Sure.
Okay, well, if you go second, that means Tucker has to go first, because Tucker always goes first.
I always go first.
I'll go between you guys.
Fine. I will say, to preface this, Brian was watching the podcast earlier today. He was like, yo, this is kind of good. We're like, yeah.
I admittedly needed to get caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came downstairs to hear my own voice playing through a speaker, and then Brian was like, yo, this is actually kind of good content. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, dude,
Hey,
that's
I've
what I've been telling you
I've
this
seen a
whole
couple
time.
episodes,
It's
but-
been good content.
It's been
and
good
no
content.
one in our house watches it. They
My
refuse.
boyfriend doesn't even watch it.
It needs to be on Spotify. That's the only way Jordan's going to watch it.
I will admit it is easier to listen to on Spotify.
Dude, and your voice quality is going to be so ass throughout this entire
Because
thing.
I'm going
You're going
closer
leaning
and further
away
away
and-
from the mic.
yeah.
It's probably going to be an issue.
It's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, fun fact. So you know how we spent all that time last week waiting for your new mic to come in just to fix all of our mic issues?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're sharing 2 mics for 3 people.
Ah! It'll be better when Daphne gets the hell out of this room.
Damn.
Out of this room?
Yes, when we're in separate rooms recording these.
Oh, I thought you were just like...
Get out.
Get
You're
out
off
of
the
here.
podcast.
Yeah, it's me and Brian now.
It's B and T. T and B in the
T.
bow zone. Brian and Tucker in the bone zone.
Oh, no.
Not Daphne. Well, let's get into it.
I mean,
guys.
this
You
was
guys
my
excited?
idea, so f*** you.
I mean, yeah, but I also agreed to it.
I
so.
drug you into it. I was like, hey, buddy.
Well, I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Little did we know.
I
would
had
be putting...
like 4 Mike's Hard Lemonades.
Yeah.
We were watching
Ghost
Adventures, and I was like, we should do a podcast.
Ugh.
If I remember right, that was how you guys
It was.
came up with the idea.
That
Like,
is.
Brian was there.
We were
I was.
we were watching an episode of Ghost Adventures, and I was like, oh, look at that. Look at all those bozos in the bone zone. And I was like, write that down. Write that down. Write that down.
Oh my god!
You guys got to name this specific episode 3 Bozos in the Bone Zone.
You're right. Honestly, I'll edit the logo.
The third Bozo.
I'll make a copy of it and just scratch out 2 and put a crappily drawn 3 in like MS Paint.
Just like a big red X through it.
Add another bone. Another
like
shard
a
of
tattoo
bone.
somebody's name that you have to cover up.
Add another little fragment of
An
bone.
obviously edited in.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Brian's here for this. He's a special guest, Brian.
And we can also, I don't know if the mic's picked up on it, but I just heard the cat outside the door, so she's probably
She's a
sitting
little
out there.
fiend.
She's probably gonna be like, Mom.
We can add a surprise picture of the cat for her
Yeah,
surprise
insert
appearance.
Cat
a
jump scare.
picture of the cat here, and then also it's only a matter of time before it's her birthday, and then I'm going to flood Instagram with pictures of her. So
You've got to put a picture of her in a ghost costume into a episode of the podcast.
We can throw a sheet on her head with eye holes in it.
cut little ear holes
Who?
in it.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say we've been
We've been stalling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you
about
see
10
the
minutes
problem?
already.
You see the
5
problem?
minutes.
You see the problem, Ryan? It only is downhill from here.
Have fun editing this 2-hour episode.
Exactly. It's gonna be 2.5. All right. Well, have you guys ever heard of a location called Lake Champlain?
No.
Damn,
Let me
alright.
guess. It's a lake.
It is, in fact, a lake.
It's a body of
How did you
water.
guess?
That's a surprise.
So it borders, like, New York and Vermont, Canada.
Oh, we're moving across the country.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to be like, it's in Oregon.
Nope.
I was gonna be like, buddy, that's my
New York.
I will
New
say
York.
the ones I've seen always have something in Oregon. So
That's
far.
because
I think by
Oregon's
coincidence.
interesting.
We
Oregon's
try to represent.
Keep
Yeah.
it local a little.
We do.
And now we're not local. Anyway.
Yeah, we said.
So
not only are we not in Oregon, we're not even on this side of the country.
it's fine. But it goes, basically the lake kind of goes up the border of Canada in between New York and Canada. So it goes almost to Quebec.
In between New York and
Yes.
does New York
No.
share a border with?
No, it's like
Canada?
it's sort of like the
I thought New York was further. Am I tripping? I'm really bad.
I'm pulling it up on a map.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
thank
gonna
you,
say,
thank you,
I'm-
Brian. Thank you.
It's also quite beautiful, honestly.
I was gonna say there's Vermont, Maine, yeah, Massachusetts.
For
yeah.
reference,
Oh, New York.
it
okay.
essentially falls down into northern Vermont.
Yes.
Okay.
And northern New York, northern Vermont
Oh shit.
goes up into
Your-
Canada.
Your laptop's a touchscreen? That's cool.
So's mine.
That's a. Oh, it is.
Yes.
What is this new
You just used it for like
you young
3
whippersnappers
hours.
have?
Oh my
I can't
God.
tell looking at it. Is it the border between Vermont and New York?
Basically.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, in this lake, you're never gonna guess, there's going to be a creature.
A monster in the lake.
And this one, when I was doing the research at first, I was like, it's another lake monster. It's not gonna be
The
interesting.
Champlain monster.
Can we also talk about the fact that this lake is super long and super skinny?
It is very
The
long and
shape
skinny.
of this lake is insane.
Almost
I wouldn't be
like-
shocked if the Loch Ness monster is also in a long and skinny lake.
It is also very similar to a loch, isn't it? Ooh, foreshadowing. No, but when I was doing
Is this a rip-off Loch Ness monster
Basically.
in the U.S.?
Pretty much. However, Lake Champlain,
Yeah.
its monster, also known as Champ. We call him Champy because we're homies.
I fuck with
You're on
that.
a first
He's-
name?
He sounds like a Pokemon.
I'm on a first name
You're on a
basis
first
with
name
Champy.
basis with him?
Yep.
Is
But
there a Pokemon?
There is not, but it sounds like one.
there is a card in MetaZoo about Champy.
I think
Hell
every
yeah.
single one of the cryptids we've ever covered has had
Yeah.
a card in MetaZoo.
Yep.
Unfortunately, mine won't have a card in MetaZoo.
Oh well.
Oh, what the hell, Brian?
Spoilers.
Ugh.
No, but
Brian, we have a
This
very
one?
specific formula that we follow here.
Well, mine's technically
Well,
not
maybe
a
if you
cryptid
actually
or a
listened,
ghost.
if you actually listened to the episodes, you would know that.
she has a point.
I am now.
That's fair.
He also has a point. But this one has some evidence that we'll get to at the very end that honestly is more believable than anything Loch Ness has ever put out, ever.
Well, because everything to do with Loch Ness is just a lot of people going, "Oh, I saw something over there."
Yeah, literally. That was a horrible accent, by the way. Don't do that again.
Where's? Oh, you got something over there in the
I think
loch.
I think it's in Scotland, I believe.
I know that
He is correct.
Did you ever watch that? Speaking of
Scooby-Doo movie? Yep,
movie.
I actually really like that
That's
movie.
one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies.
Yep. Yep.
Loch Ness.
Yeah, it's a loch. It's a long, skinny lake. Let's get into a description, shall we? So we don't take forever.
Yes.
So
getting
the
distracted,
the
sorry.
earliest description, which we'll get into a little bit more in depth in just a second, was described this creature as a 187-foot long black serpent with a head that resembled a seahorse, which is weird because seahorse isn't the word seahorse; it's sea space horse,
Like a horse.
like a
in the
horse
A
head,
horse
but in the
at
water.
sea.
Yes.
I'm imagining a horse head with like little fin ears.
Yeah. Like a hippocampus,
Yeah.
the Percy Jackson movie?
Yes.
That movie's trash, by the way.
Also, 187 feet is weirdly specific.
I was literally
It's
just about to say
also
that.
massive.
Yeah, that's also like 2/3 of a football
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
Huge.
Yeah,
but
it's
also,
huge.
why are they not like, oh yeah, it was around 200 feet long. Why is it so specific with the length?
Because it's probably fake.
That's
Anyway,
that's like a quarter the length of a Costco or something.
it is, honestly.
How many champions could you fit in a Costco?
How many
Champion to
do you think,
Costco
Tucker?
conversion.
I didn't do that one. I'm
U.S.
sorry, guys.
conversion rates.
Unit calculation.
I'm not quite done because this one is a little bit weird. Because this sighting also said that it had 3 teeth. So it's like a little...
Is it 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, or is it 3 in the
It did
front?
not say. It had the eyes were the color of a peeled onion, so white.
White.
It had...
What if it was a red onion? It was kind of a pinky color.
Well, hold on. It has a white star on its forehead. and a belt of red around its neck, which I'm not sure if it had like
a little ascot.
Yeah, it's like Fred.
A little necklace.
It's starting to sound more and more like a Pokemon.
It is. It really is.
The little star on the forehead is giving warrior cats.
Oh, you.
True.
Cole's gonna like this
Okay.
episode, bro. He's a Warrior Cats meat rider.
Fully unprovoked. One time, one of my coworkers just walked up to me, completely unprovoked, and just went, "You seem like the kind of person that read Warrior Cats when you were younger," and then he walked away.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You did not need to
that's
read
fair.
me
Yep.
like that." Completely unprovoked.
That was the earliest sighting. Most other sightings have the creature being anywhere from 20 to 30 feet long. They generally
they're babies.
They generally share having white somewhere on its body, and it's generally in the head and mouth region. They don't ever really say at a white star again. Don't ever talk about a belt of red.
So let me get. So the original one was really, really long and black and had a
Yes.
red scarf and a
there's,
tiara.
There's a little bit in there that we'll get in there in just a second when I start talking about actual sightings. There's a little bit more to that description because it's really weird because it's being followed by other stuff in that. It's really weird. We'll talk about it in a second.
We'll get there when we get there.
We get there when we get there. So with that, let's jump into the sightings, and I'll give you a little history. So, oh god, I'm swinging this around. As of today's date, there have been over 300 sightings.
300?
300s. And the original story dates back, and it gets some inspiration from one of the Native American tribes of that region, the Iroquois, which have legends of giant snakes.
Okay.
Pretty cool, huh?
Are the Thunderbirds eating all the giant snakes?
Mm,
Is this one of those water panthers?
no, it's not a water panther.
Okay.
It's not. Most people think. I think the cat just meowed. I heard that.
Oh, I heard the little
did
jingle
hear
of
it.
bells.
The first supposed
She's outside the door.
The first supposed sighting that isn't the thing was actually in 1609 by Samuel de Champlain, who was the founder of Quebec, Canada, and who the lake is named after. And he said that he saw a 20-foot long serpent that was as thick as a barrel with a head like a horse. However, there's literally no evidence. He's never been quoted saying that ever, and I'm pretty sure it was just made up by a sports magazine in the 1970s to just like draw up some hype.
They were like, oh yeah, this really important guy one time definitely saw this thing
Yeah.
after he's dead and he can't defend himself.
They
Yep.
definitely had a sea serpent mascot if it was a sports magazine in
For
the local
sure.
area.
Like, we need to make this seem super legit.
Most
Yeah.
of their sports teams around that area use Champy as a mascot.
I mean,
That's honestly
who
fair.
Wouldn't?
It's sick. Also,
Who wouldn't?
Real.
Wait, can we get
I want to go to
t-shirts?
that high school.
yes, actually, you probably can. They're a professional baseball team, I believe. That's
Is there any hockey teams?
the
with
Lake Monsters.
that?
Probably.
logo?
I didn't look that up.
Okay, I'll get a hockey jersey.
Yeah, but one of the most credible reports, which is the one that I told you, 187 foot long, is by some guy named Captain Crumb.
C-R-U-M-B?
That sounds
No,
like a tasty
CRUM,
cereal.
no B.
Just, okay.
Captain Crumb.
Captain Crumb. What was he
Yep.
the captain of?
A ship, evidently. He was on the water. This was in 1809, I believe. And he said, other than the 100, stop eating my candy, 187
Sorry,
foot
I like
long.
putting rocks in, I like the chocolate rocks.
I know. 187 feet long, that one. He said that it was also being followed by 2 sturgeon and a billfish. By the way, Brian, if you don't know what a billfish is, it's basically a swordfish, but without as long a nose.
Noted.
Which is a very weird thing to note, that apparently this 187 foot long creature is being followed by 2 sturgeon and a billfish.
I like to think it's like the king, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
got his little courtesan going around. They're like, oh, my liege. And they're like following him around.
Or from like a biological perspective, it's like, you know what those, like Remora when they get on sharks? It's kind of like that is what I imagined it.
Yeah, but sturgeon are bottom feeders.
I know, which is interesting why they would be at the surface following a
I also love that
absolute
he's
behemoth.
like, oh yeah, there was...
2 sturgeon and 1 billfish.
He's like, oh yeah. You can clearly see the sturgeon. Also,
Yeah.
how big were these sturgeon?
It didn't say. Just said they were being followed.
Wait, I
Sturgeon can be super
They can be
freaking
huge.
I was going
huge.
to say sturgeon can be massive,
They also taste
but
really
even if
good.
it's like
Aren't they
10 feet long, which I think would be maybe pretty big for a sturgeon, that's still like a 20th the size of this thing.
Yes.
So I don't know how he
You can call him
was like,
Champy.
oh,
He's
look at that
cool.
insanely large serpent. Those are some cool sturgeon over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at screw the massive serpent. Look at those sturgeon.
I know. He's like, wow, a billfish in these lakes? Wow.
Bro must be a fishing man.
Straight up. They were also, the stories about Champy captured the attention of P.T. Barnum, actually.
What are these names?
Do you not know who P.T. Barnum is?
Who is that?
It sounds
He's the
extremely familiar.
huge circus guy. He was the one that did like the traveling like freak show kind of thing. I believe.
Oh yeah.
I think they made the movie where Hugh Jackman played him.
Oh, The Greatest Showman?
I believe so.
Brian is frantically Googling.
I believe that's correct.
Brian, you want to just be our,
Yeah, I'm the side background researcher.
We're gonna have you every time now, honestly.
You're going to be fact-checking all of us.
You can be the editor.
Guys, actually, what's your source for that, Tucker?
Actually, if you actually read this...
I made it up.
And we're like,
Anyway,
none of this is proven.
Making it up is the fun part.
He owned like an exotic show, so he'd show the bearded lady, the strong man, the like really small
People with
person, the really
tattoos.
tall. Yes.
People
Back
with
in
tattoos.
1873, but he offered $50,000 in 1873, or $1,313,754.17 in today's money,
Holy sh...
to kill Champy and bring him its hide.
Great!
Yeah, because he wanted to like show it off.
Yay.
So let me guess. This sparked... I'm going to take a wild gander here, and I'm going to guess that this sparked a lot of old fishermen to go, I'm going to get that bounty!
You would be right.
And they all got in their little boats, and they shot at anything
They're
that
10
moved.
foot.
You would be right.
Killed a lot of sturgeon.
You would be right.
Men with guns.
10-foot rowing boat. I want to take him out. Not even guns, probably muskets at that point.
Yeah.
They got the
This is in 1873.
They're spear fishing.
Yeah,
You're
essentially
dude,
muskets.
I will say, going out to try to hunt something that's apparently 187 feet long with like just muskets is kind of insane. You need harpoons and shit for that.
Can you hear the tippy types of Brian frantically Googling again?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you guys aren't talking, you can probably hear it just a little bit, but I don't know.
Depends.
What are you Googling, Brian?
Automatic machine guns were not invented until 84, so they were definitely using some really goofy semi-automatic gun to
Yes.
try and hunt
They were
this.
probably muzzle loaders.
Would you guys
Yeah, something like
to
that.
get into some photographs?
There's photographs?
This
Yes.
I'm interested in, because
I
Loch
guess
Ness
you
Monster
literally just
photographs
said there were
always
over
interest me.
300 sightings.
Yeah.
So
Let me see if
somebody
I can
had
actually-
to have had a
I
camera.
hope there's a decent one from the last, 50 years.
Well, Brian.
You're like, this one was
We'll get there
actually
when we
taken
get there.
yesterday?
Actually, I was there. I was there just last week,
You're like, and
guys.
here's the picture I got.
Believe it or not, you're half right. You'll see it in just a second. But one of the most famous photographs was...
Is this all over TikTok?
what?
Is this all over TikTok?
No.
Okay.
Was something
There's
called
probably a side of TikTok for it.
for sure. The Mancy photograph, which in 1977, one of the most famous photographs, which I'll show you in just a second, of Champy was taken by a woman named Sandra Mancy. She was on vacation on the lake, and she just happened to catch it.
Was she on a honeymoon?
I don't think so. Basically, in it, you can see the head, neck, and back of the creature sticking out of the water. I'm going to show you the photograph before going on, because it honestly is pretty convincing.
When did you say is this one from?
1977.
That's
Looks about
actually
right. That is
really
actually a pretty good
It is really, really good.
That's
That's
better
a-
than most Loch Ness Monster photos, I would say.
It
Well, because
is.
all Loch Ness Monster photos have been debunked.
True.
And
been debunked?
the thing is, what?
Was that photo debunked? Or is that one of the most
You'll
famous
get
photos?
there.
Okay, I'm sorry!
God. Why don't we even talk with you anymore?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Zam.
from
Yeah,
what?
this is why I'm getting kicked off. And
Yeah,
why Brian is my
I want
host.
Brian here full time. He's way better co-anchor. But apparently the picture was taken in an area where the water was only about 14 feet deep, which but around this time is when most sightings are like, it's only like 20, 30 feet long, so, it's not unreasonable.
I
but
was gonna say,
some people think it would be
big-ass
hard for
sharks
Champy
and
to swim
things
there.
can swim in, ankle-deep water.
That definitely does not look like a fin of any sort, though.
No. And the thing is, there were some problems with this photo. Apparently, Miss Sandra had thrown away the negative of the photo and also could not remember where she took the photo, which leads many, many people to believe that it's fake. I mean, again, when I show the picture in the editing, it's honestly very, very convincing.
It looks like an album cover.
It honestly would probably go hard.
Fire album cover?
For like a country song, that would honestly be pretty good.
Tune in next episode for Tucker
We starting a music company, guys.
We're dropping our first album.
Yeah, check out the release. No, but the main reason why it was actually, I believe this one was investigated by people who said that it didn't appear to be tampered with, but you know.
Well, there's a difference between having like a doctored photo and like a like a real photo where then the subject is like a forced perspective or a fake. Like you can have real pictures of fake things.
But this picture you can definitely see, you know, trees, you can see the opposite bank. It looks like there's something with its head coming out of the water. You can see the back of it. It's honestly a very convincing photograph. But also, she doesn't have the evidence, and she can't remember where she took it, so...
Do you think it's something where she was just snapping photos and not really paying attention? Or do you think she deliberately saw something and took a picture of it? Or is that a zoom in of like a larger photo?
It looks a bit... Unless it's a zoom in of a larger photo, I feel like it looks a bit too centered in the photo.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Accidental.
It looks way too...
Because what I would believe more if she's like, if she was just out there snapping pictures, then be like, I don't know where the heck this was taken.
I feel like with what the photo looks like now, it would be very hard to miss that when you're taking a picture of it, though, because that doesn't really look zoomed in.
But if it's far enough away, it
sure,
could look like a log.
True, it could easily be like 200 feet away.
Yeah,
and
definitely
sticking 3 feet out of the water.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump to a video, which unfortunately I don't actually have. I'm sorry, guys. But
Might cry.
Actually, you know what? We're kicking you off.
I'm not.
It's me and Brian now.
Have fun editing,
visual
then.
evidence?
I'm not doing it. I'm not editing anymore. You got to find your own editor. Speaking of which,
do it anyways.
Speaking of which, we should find someone to edit these. This is war as hell. Anyway,
I kept asking if you wanted me to ask Oscar.
We might as well, honestly. I'm at my limit, bro. Not really. Editing's not that bad. I just like making a fuss about it.
You like to complain.
I do
also,
like to
me
complain.
Too,
I do like to complain.
So true.
This video is a lot more credible because it's from 2005, actually.
Oh my god, I was 4 years old.
Yeah, wow. I was 2, and you were also 2.
Yes.
I don't know if it's apparently obvious I'm older than everybody here.
I know.
She's
I'm
ancient.
surrounded by babies.
She's gonna be the ghost here soon.
True. She's gonna die and haunt us. That'd be so annoying. You'd be annoying.
Yeah, that's very true.
I wouldn't be like the cute little aw, she's here. Like I'm setting fire to your bed. Like that's that's the kind of haunting that I'm gonna be. I'm not gonna be leaving you cute little notes. I'm not gonna be.
You're not gonna sweep up the glass shards like the one in the Cedar Head Lighthouse.
No, I'm throwing things at your head.
Jeez.
And lighting fire to your bed and like levitating things.
At least you'll probably be on someone else's podcast in like 100 years' time.
True. That I would say that would be a banger podcast episode. 100th episode anniversary, we kill ourselves and have Brian contact us through a Ouija board. Brian, the other side is real. Anyway, let's get on.
That's going to be my second appearance.
Brian has no idea how to do a seance. We just like leave him a vague description.
Yeah.
And he's
I don't know.
I guess I'll light a candle.
I'm so cooked.
Put your hand on the board, I guess, man. I don't know.
He's just like, I guess hey guys.
I'll figure it out, maybe.
It'll be fine. There's definitely
there will be a
tutorial.
weird cutoff at the end, and it'll be them jumping me.
Yeah, just go down. If you scroll through a witch TikTok event long enough, you'll witch talk.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Boo!
TikTok for everything.
That's cringe. Anyway, let's roll on.
Anyway, this video.
Yeah,
so,
video.
This guy named Dick Affolter and his stepson.
I'm sorry. What?
Dick Affolter. Affolter. Affolter.
Richard Affolter?
Literally. And his stepson, Pete Baudet, who were both local fishermen, reportedly took a video of the creature in which you can see the head or neck of a plesiosaur-like creature opening and closing its mouth. Due to some stuff they talk about a little bit within it, I'm assuming this was kind of like a, quote-unquote accidental thing. It's also apparent that the creature is not poking its head out of the water because they would have probably freaked out. I would.
So wait.
It's under the water.
They're filming the water.
They're like filming like, oh man, this fish is so big. And then you see it in the background going...
Absolutely not.
And it was actually analyzed by 2 ex-FBI forensic image analysts who thought it was untampered with and authentic, but one of them said that he couldn't actually see any animal on the surface of the water, so that sucks.
Bro said they was capping.
Literally. However, I wish I could have found the video, and I want to try to find
Are
the
there
video.
screenshots of the video?
In the articles I was looking at, I didn't see it.
They're like with like a red circle and a finger pointing
Oh
to
my
where it's...
real champy footage!
Everybody make shocked faces for the thumbnail.
Oh! But this,
You will not believe what's in this video. Click
Now-
to find out more.
we're going to get into the more heavy hitting stuff, which
There's
is
more heavy hitting stuff
a
than this.
lot more credible. Specifically, this next piece of evidence we're going to get to.
What is it from people in 2016 playing Pokemon Go again?
No, unfortunately. They actually ended up doing a test with sonar technology, and they got anomalous sound recordings from the lake.
Ew! 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 I don't like that.
The sounds are described as sounding similar to beluga whales or dolphins, which are not and have never been found in Lake Champlain before, ever. There's no recorded history of any of those animals. So, what they are saying is with this test, they have gotten some sort
weird,
of animal.
Some weird anomalous.
Something is using echolocation at the bottom of Lake Champlain, and they don't know what it is. They don't know what it's from.
Are they sure? Like, are they 1,000% sure it's not like shifting tectonic plates? Or
Does shifting tectonic plates sound like beluga whales and dolphins?
beluga whales and dolphins sound like a lot of things. They just kind of chirp and it's weird and like grunts and bubbles. And...
Well, they sound like beluga whales and dolphins.
So how do they know it's not a beluga whale or a dolphin?
It's a lake.
I don't know. Listen.
Did you not hear the part where I said they are not and have never been found in Lake Champlain? Use your listening ears.
I was too busy distracted at looking at what Brian was Googling.
What were you Googling,
Brian
Brian?
was not
I
paying
was
attention.
doing a quick search to see if I could find any
The videos?
the video, and I found like a
I thought
crappy
you were-
TikTok, but it didn't really have
for
anything
real
good.
looking at Witch Talk right now.
No, I was.
Dude, Brian's surfing the
I'm
web.
not crazy.
But no, that is the big one, and then we're going to get to...
Do you have that audio clip?
No, it was not released.
Tucker.
I don't know what you want me to
I'm
do.
a
Okay, well,
skeptic.
I'm the marine biologist, so you better come in clutch with these freaking sounds.
You get
It was
her
a
that noise, she'll
hydrophone
know.
recording.
Okay, get me those. Listen, as the expert that I am.
What is hydrophone? Please tell.
What?
What he said. It was a what was it? Hydrophone.
A hydrophone.
What is
It's
that?
an underwater microphone.
Okay, is that all it is?
Hydro microphone.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Point taken.
By the way, those recordings were from September of 2018, and also previous recordings were from 20 years ago, in 2002,
Damn.
and they were analyzed by Japanese scientists who found they were unlike any species known to be in a freshwater lake. So
Why did we send them out? Why did they send them all out to Japan? Is it the only people that were willing to work on it? They're
I
like,
guess they're like, I don't know, I'll do it in Japan.
Makes
Why
me
not?
wonder how similar it is to stuff in the ocean if it's just not similar to stuff in freshwater.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they said it was similar to beluga whales and dolphins, which are both found in the ocean.
True.
So
you know what would be interesting is if they actually went down and started playing recordings of
That could be
beluga
very
whales
interesting.
and dolphins and seeing if they get a response.
we should do that.
It's kind of a good idea.
We should do that.
Yeah, I'm a scientist. I don't know if you knew that.
Are you?
You're on a podcast talking about ghosts and fake animals.
I know.
Science.
Thank you,
Science rules.
Brian.
Bill.
All right, well, we're going to get to the most interesting thing I found.
Okay.
And this was from a movie.
Okay.
A movie they filmed in 2022.
Oh, this recent.
This is recent.
Okay.
So I'll give you a little background on the film. This film, amazing, titled Lucy and the Lake Monster, and it's about a girl who is an orphan apparently.
Is this like Puff the Magic Dragon, but a knockoff?
Sort of. It's about a young orphan girl and her grandfather
Classic.
searching the lake for.
How is it an
Champy.
orphan girl if she has? Oh, I guess her parents are dead.
Her parents
I'm
are dead,
stupid.
yeah.
I thought
It's also based on a best-selling children's novel with the same title.
called Puff the Magic Dragon.
No, called Lucy and the Lake Monster. And they actually did film in Port Henry, New York, which is pretty close to the spot, and almost all of the lake shots were actually shot on the lake, which
Oh,
is
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah. And it was in post-production in May of 2023, and it's actually out, so we could actually watch it if we want to. I believe it's on Amazon. However, the trailer I watched...
does it not? Oh, let me guess. What's the score on Rotten Tomatoes?
Probably has like a $600,000 budget.
What's its Rotten Tomatoes
I
score?
don't know. I'm actually going to look that up right now while I'm talking. But the from the trailer that I saw... It's on Netflix, sorry. It was also in theaters.
What's the Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm looking it up.
Did it win any Oscars? Did it
Probably
win any
not.
awards at all?
Considering
this a
I haven't
hard-hitting
heard of
movie?
it, probably not.
Yeah, probably because
It's not even on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's unfortunate.
Lame.
I know. But the trailer I saw, I'll give you a brief description because it's honestly hilarious. It's basically about this girl who like believes in Champion. She literally gets like bullied by everyone, and she has these two like I guess like the villains are like poachers. And there's one really weird scene. This girl is like a 10 or 12-year-old girl, and this
Blonde.
She's not blonde. She's a brunette.
Ah.
And this guy,
It's always a little blonde.
the like evil poacher guy, is like grabbing her by the chin. He's like, "You listen to me. You're gonna bring us right to the lake monster." And I was like, ugh. But
And she's like, no, I gotta stop the poachers.
I have to save the champy.
Oh.
But then literally it cuts to the next scene in the trailer, and it's them finding, they like see the lake monster off like the side of the boat, and the poachers are like, oh shoot, we gotta gun him down. And she like jumps into the water trying to like intercept the bullets. So I don't know if this ends with Lucy getting shot
like,
trying to save her homie the champy. But
Was there a scene of? There's got to be a really
now I wanna
poorly
watch it.
edited CGI scene of her riding the monster
I hope so.
like a horse.
I hope so. That would be really funny.
And then there's probably some scene at the end. It's like, Champy, you were my only friend.
You're
when
my-
nobody else believed in me. I knew you were
I
real.
miss you, Champy. But
Are you looking
Okay.
it up
I found the movie on IMDb. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, it has a 9.9 out of 10.
I mean, it's a local movie.
It's a children's movie.
It's a children's movie made in great old New York. However,
They have terrible New York accents.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think any of the actors are from New York.
Oh.
But we got some juicy stuff.
Let me guess. In the background of when they were shooting this movie, they actually caught footage of a sea monster.
Yeah.
Be actually so f***ing for real
That's
right now. Be actually
They
so
did.
f***ing for real right now.
They did.
Okay,
During-
it had to be. It's movie shooting. This has to be decent footage.
It is somewhat decent. I mean, here's a still photograph. It looks kind of I'm going to have to point the monster out for you. The monster is in this location.
Oh my god.
You can see it,
Wait,
right?
and that's not a prop?
Nope.
That definitely
That's
looks at
definite-
least like 15, 20 feet large.
I have the exact dimensions of the boat.
That's what I was thinking. It's about the size of the boat.
It's bigger than the boat.
It's bigger than the... Oh, good night.
Yeah,
So,
but
okay, at
so
this
they're
point, why the hell did they not just have a million trail cams just
literally
pointed at this lake
no,
all
but
the time?
They were the like main editor and some of the directors were like going through the footage, and they were like, because this is drone footage. They shot drone footage on the lake with them rowing their little rowboat, and they're like, "Yo, what's that?" And then it pops to the footage, and in this video, you see it swimming, like it's following the boat in the lake.
Good night.
They're cooked.
Yeah.
Imagine you're out there being like, ah ha ha, look at us filming this whimsical thing, and it's like, and then like the little girl's like, I'm here to look at my magical friend, and then you turn around and it's real.
Yeah, and you turn around, and it's like slowly rise out of the water. It's got some
It's actually
some
just
seaweed
Algae.
drips down its head. It goes
it's like
slowly submerges.
it's like that's something you don't want to encounter when you're like scuba diving.
No.
Oh, hell no.
Imagine you're like you're like, damn, it's dark down here. You like turn a corner, you're like going through a little bit of a cave, and it's just like,
You just
hello.
Dog, I don't like swimming already.
I'm at Renton jump scare. Renton doesn't like the water either because he can't swim. But so the footage, by the way, in that boat, the two lead actors of the film are filming a scene while they're recording this. The boat is about 142 inches from nose to stern, and it's about 50.5 inches at the widest part, and this creature is significantly larger than the boat.
So about 12 feet long.
It's about 12 feet long.
Okay.
And it is definitely shown swimming. I'm going to try to find the
Is
actual...
it like following the boat?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Hell no.
Yeah.
How do we get tickets? How do we go? New York?
Let's go to the lake, fellas.
Okay, let's...
We're having a lake day.
Yeah, literally. Lake day, hunt down the monster.
Dude, I love being on a boat. I love nothing more than being on a boat.
Yeah, literally.
That's kind of your job.
Yeah. It's almost like I did that for a reason.
Fair enough.
Follow your dreams.
Let's see.
Boat.
Boat time.
Oh, here it is! Oh, man.
YouTube ad.
YouTube ad.
YouTube ad.
Cut this out.
Functionality and
Cut this out.
You can see it right there.
Okay.
And it's definitely moving. Moving right there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You can see the tail, like the back end of it, like slither.
It is moving in the water.
Not super fast, but it's moving.
No, it's
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just meandering along, but it's
Yeah.
not going slower than the boat, and it's definitely a good bit longer, like 20
for
plus
sure.
feet long.
For sure. Which is... It was so cool. When I saw that, I first saw that clip, I was like,
You're like,
oh
you're
my god!
like, no way.
And that will bring us to a little bit of explanation stuff. So, like, while most sightings are debunked for the same reasons as Nessie, them being fish, boats, wood, random debris in the lake, that kind of stuff, the echolocation recordings and the footage from 2022 and ish 2023
Also, it's like,
that's really hard to discredit.
yeah, especially because also, like, I was expecting it to not be that easy to see. It's like a
It's
brown
really
swimming. It's
easy
like
to see.
it's got blue water, and you just see this brown blob that's clearly like shifting back and forth.
So, oh sorry, go ahead, Brian.
It's also like professionally shot footage.
Yeah,
in
it's
this
a
case. It's
movie.
not like some random person being
No.
like, guys, I found this
It's
photo.
Champy. No, but also the director and co-writer of the film is actually currently showing the entire 5 minutes of footage. All we saw was a 12-second clip of it. So there's 5 minutes of it like moving around. He's actually sharing it with a conclave of scientists who have doctorates in science. Doesn't say what kind of science.
I'm assuming
Probably biology.
of some sort.
But they're actually preparing a scholarly article for academic peer review about the footage as we speak.
How do I get on that research
I know,
team?
isn't that
How do I
sick?
get on that?
Isn't that so
Excuse
cool?
me. I have a bachelor's in biology.
gotta
Please
get
let me
your
on your
PhD.
team. No, guys, please.
I know, but
Please.
it's so cool.
Please
And-
put my name on that
I'm
paper.
genuinely invested.
No, literally. And the big thing is, obviously, you can definitely tell from this, it looks like a plesiosaur. Most lake monsters do. They're either big snakes or plesiosaur-looking things, which, honestly, I like that. I love me some dinosaurs, even though a plesiosaur is not technically a dinosaur.
I just find it. Now I'm just excited from like a scientific point of view, where I'm like, oh my gosh, an undiscovered species.
Yeah, it's so cool, though.
That is unironically very cool.
Yeah, it is. It really,
I'm
really
unwilling
is.
to believe that this is a cryptid, because I feel like what makes a cryptid is that it's like based not in reality.
Yeah.
I feel like this, especially if they have a team of scientists and like credible sources going after it, and all sorts of this other evidence where you have actual like very professional people looking at it, and they're taking it seriously. This is actually really exciting in the field of just biology in general.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
Sorry, I'm watching a video right now. I know, isn't that one
Good
sick?
job, Tucker.
That one's so cool.
How have I never heard of this?
I've
I've heard of Champy.
I've heard of Champy. I've never heard that much about him.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But all I've ever heard about Champy is they're like, oh yeah, it's like a knockoff.
Bootleg Nessie.
Bootleg Nessie
what I've
in the U.S. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. I had no idea there was actually this much evidence to go along with it.
To be fair, the most solid part of that is in the last, year or two.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's fair. It's probably older stuff that I was
if you heard about it 2-3 years ago,
Oh,
you probably, that probably wasn't known.
whoa. What is this?
What are you finding,
Hold on, give me a second.
viewers? Cut all of this out. This is gonna be so hard for you to edit if you're like
Cut the
trying
chatter.
to put in.
So what? Huh? No. Apparently this is also footage of it. That is lake monster proof you will never see.
Allegedly.
I'm sorry, back that up. I couldn't see. What am I looking at?
Audio on the video again.
Yeah.
Cut all of this
That's
out. This is gonna be. You're making this hard for you.
I don't care. I just want you to watch this again.
What am I looking at? Pause. Okay, now it's black. What am I? Slow it down. I can't.
Go. You can use the comma and the period to jump between frames.
What?
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. Go back.
What am I looking at? It's like a flash of something. I can't f***ing see.
That.
What is that? Back it up.
It appears
Do
to be a
one
head.
frame at a time.
I'm trying to find the...
Like
Are those its
blurred.
two eyes?
Yeah.
No, like that's an eye and that's an eye. What?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
To me, that just looks like it could be a scale or something.
That looks like a reflection in the water.
For sure, it's definitely fake. I just thought it was kind of creepy, and I just showed.
You're
the
gonna have to
part.
cut this entire segment out.
It's
because it's just us looking at a
You're working over
video.
there, huh? What's this? Oh, whoa. Anyway,
Post edit. Oh wow, Tucker, that was crazy.
wow, dude.
Wow.
What compelling evidence! I'm so
Oh my
glad
gosh,
that Champy.
look at that.
I'm so glad that Champy came into our room and signed autographs for us. That's
Signed
awesome.
Champy autographs right here,
That's
$50
awesome.
a piece.
That's awesome. That's really all I have. We can do a little bit of discussion. First off, where is Champy going on the tier list?
S tier.
S tier? I like
He
it.
sounds pretty cool. I'd say us too.
Considering the footage that they saw,
Considering the footage and
from
also the fact
a
that.
movie about him, duh.
Do you think he was popping in to be like,
Yo,
yo, you guys telling my story properly? Actually, back that up.
autobiography.
Yeah.
Champy.
He's like, oh my god, wait, this is about me?
Oh my god.
Guys, wait.
Nah, honestly,
Live Champy interview?
I think it's honestly fascinating to me the amount of evidence they have for this thing.
It is
I
very
know.
interesting.
I had no idea because again everybody's always talking about the Loch Ness monster and I feel like this is way more credible because I do not believe in the Loch Ness monster, but this has me scratching my head a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah. So specifically that last, not the stupid one on YouTube that I found that was kind of weird with freaky music. The one that they shot with the movie was crazy work. I was like, dude, that's so cool. It was awesome though. That's all I have. That's all I brought for you.
Good job, Tucker.
Thank you. I'm
Good
proud of myself for
job,
this
Tucker.
one.
I like
was a
that.
really
If
good.
the audio on this recording is bad, I swear to God.
Well, there's three of us sharing two mics, so it's not gonna be good.
it's over for me.
Your audio should be good because you're
Oh,
at
my
least
audio's gonna be
consistent
great.
with your mic. Ours is going to be
Yeah,
hit or miss.
I notice I raise my volume depending on how excited I am about something.
I mean, I think all of us
Also, the
do
cadence
that.
of your voice changes as you get more comfortable.
yeah, probably.
You start to talk more normally. Towards the beginning, you kind of sound like a news presenter. And then,
Hello. I did do news team for a while. I was actually on the news for our school.
why is that the least surprising thing I've
He's
ever
going to be a
found out
news
about
presenter in 10 years.
I hope
No, he's
not.
going to be a zoologist in 10 years.
So true.
Hopefully I'm going to be a zoologist in like 2.
Yeah, hopefully you're...
Fair point.
The point is I hope that you continue in
That would be
zoology.
pretty good, yeah. All right, well,
Any whoosies.
Brian.
We're doing my section. Oh, goody.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna pass this computer to you though. It's all yours. Have fun. All right, Brian.
Don't pull on the mic too hard.
You're
We're
good.
kind of at the max.
Yeah, I'm scooting forward a little so I can.
Oh my
Alright,
God.
Now I can lean forward.
Brian
so my
ASMR
section
voice.
is sure. My section
Wanna switch
is kind
seats
of
so that you can get
sure, I
closer?
suppose.
Brian, has anyone ever told you that your voice would be good for the radio?
I have been told that many times, unfortunately. So I guess we'll have to.
It's like a horror story for that
I
poor
guess
man.
we'll have to.
Brian's like,
Ask
oh my
people what
god,
they
they're
think of
talking
that.
about my voice again.
Goodness,
Ooh.
guys, thank you. feel like it'd only be better if I talked in like a more official voice, though.
Oh,
and less
whatever.
relaxed.
Just tell the
If
story.
I try to talk nice and official, no, I'm not going to do that.
Give us your
All right.
best NPR voice.
What's NPR mean again?
National Public Radio.
I'll probably end up trying to do that at some point.
Breaking
during this by myself,
news!
so we'll get there when we get there. I hope.
Brian, what have you brought for us for the Brian
Right,
Power Hour?
Unfortunately, mine doesn't really have like a specific name or one specific incident with it because there's not one with like enough evidence pointed towards it. There's a few with good evidence, but it's largely just like really weird, specifically like possible alien abductions and animal and a couple human mutilations. They're all
Wait.
weirdly
Whoa,
similar.
Human
Human-
mutilations?
There's two.
What?
One.
Ew.
They
Good
are,
night.
they are very,
yeah.
very
Oh my God.
separate. I don't have pictures of the human ones, only two
I'm
pictures of
so
animals.
ready.
I
It's-
don't like aliens.
Brian, you're gonna come back to this
So-
show, baby. You're a permanent addition. Yes, sir.
So, a lot of this is originated kind of after, like, the whole UFO, like,
The big
largely
craze.
America's UFO craze. That's kind of
So
what
like
I found in
after
my
the
notes.
60s?
Yeah, 50s. 50s is the first
60s,
case.
yeah.
60s,
Yeah.
70s, there's a lot of it, and then there's some more recent stuff as well, which is interesting.
It's definitely dipped and then like come back up.
Yeah, for
kind
sure.
of. So this, just for some background, in like 1947, for example, was when the Roswell incident happened,
Correct.
which was when people started theorizing about
Area 51.
Area 51, abduction of aliens. The U.S. has captured aliens.
Remember when that raid on Area 51 happened in like what 2016?
I specifically remember this. I was in a world history class, and we watched the live stream on YouTube on our board.
I do
Didn't
not
a
remember
guy
seeing
didn't a
this.
guy get shot?
No.
I thought
don't
one
think so.
person got
He
killed.
might
'cause
have-
they, like,
I don't think he got
Might have
killed.
had like guns pointed at him.
They had
like,
guns
hey,
pointed
get
at
the
him.
heck out of here.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got killed from it. I think someone was detained, but I don't remember if they were killed by it.
Could you imagine being those poor people that are just trying to work their job at Area
At
51?
Area 51?
Yeah.
What do you mean poor?
Yeah, they're probably.
They work for the government
To be fair,
guarding
they're-
aliens.
They've also kind of got a metaphorical gun to their head of if they
For sure.
release
Anything?
classified evidence. Or
I know, but I'm
documents
saying
and
it's
shit.
like you already are at work, and now you have to deal with a bunch of
Annoying
people that
people.
are cooked out of their mind in alien costumes, going
Yep.
"Release the aliens!" and then
That
they
sounds
are
kinda
all
fun, though.
storming around the gate.
Free my boy!
It's like
The
you.
thing is, can you even get close to the main area of Area?
Absolutely
isn't it like
not.
a very large area to my
It
knowledge?
is huge,
huge.
and it is extremely well guarded.
Because that's also where they do lots of aircraft testing.
Yes.
So it's obviously
Yes.
a very large area.
I believe it was the Blackbird. That was like a government project they
Probably
had
just
out
about
of.
any major.
It was a
Air
stealth
Force.
bomber they had out of Area 51 that people
B-2
literally
maybe.
probably people literally said it was fake until the U.S.
Blackbird,
government was
probably.
like,
Oh yeah,
no,
that was a
it's
UFO
real.
for a while. Because
Yeah.
everyone would people
They'd
would see it and be
flying.
like, "What the hell is
Well,
that?" 'Cause it's a weird black object.
it looks like a boomerang, if you don't
floating
know.
without like contrails that would be
Yeah.
from a normal passenger plane. Area 51's weird.
Area 51's
Anyways,
dope. We're gonna have to dedicate an entire episode. to
Honestly,
Area
yeah,
51.
I'd be down to do an Area 51 section.
There's
might be
we've talked about this a couple times. There's a couple things, like Mothman's gonna have to be a dedicated episode. Bigfoot's gonna have to be a dedicated episode. I think we should do a dedicated episode
You
soon.
might have to split an Area 51 episode.
Honestly,
Or actually,
yes.
like you each do
There's
multiple
like
sections.
so
There's
much.
so
There's a lot about Area 51.
I'm ready for human mutilation, Brian.
All right, yeah, let's get to that. Anyways, Roswell incident kind of covered up by the government. They were like, "Oh, something happened, something crashed," and they were like, "Guys, it was a weather balloon." A week later, so that made everyone crazy.
Yeah, it's always a weather
And
balloon.
then there was also the Mount Rainier incident. Do you guys know about that one?
No.
There was a pilot, Kenneth A. Arnold, allegedly in 1947. I can't remember if it was before or after the Roswell incident. He was flying past Mount Rainier. He was actually flying to Pendleton, Oregon, for an air show, and he
cute.
spotted allegedly 9 flying saucer-like objects about 20 miles west of Rainier is where he was at the time.
Interesting.
And he said they were like flashing, moving weird, moving like irregularly. And he estimated, based on how he saw them, where he saw them, that they were going around 1,200 miles an hour.
Oh my
So
god.
like Mach 1.5, which for
What kind of
reference,
plane was he in?
he was in like some passenger single plane, basically
Like a
the
Cessna.
1940s version of a Cessna,
Yeah.
essentially.
It was a propeller plane.
Yes. This is
And then
1947.
he's watching
Jets
these
weren't really a
things.
thing.
He's like, huh?
Yeah, and nothing had broken the sound barrier in
No.
the area. The fastest anything gone at this point was like Mach 0.8.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the next few weeks, there was a couple other weird sightings like this. But more or less, this incident and the Roswell incident led to a lot of like the UFO craze essentially started in the 40s and 50s.
I love the UFO craze.
And that's kind of just the background of this. The first actual incident that involves a bit of mutilation, because that's
Woo,
crazy.
boy.
Oh, no.
Is
it cows? It's always cows.
Oh, there's a lot of cows. I'm not gonna lie.
Not the cows.
I guess that's where all the abducted cow videos and
That's where the stereotype of the cow getting beamed up comes from.
They go,
Honestly, I'll get to it later, but there is like one person called in or allegedly someone called into some group. I forget which of these events it was for.
Mm-hmm.
But they said like allegedly there's like a certain spot on cows' bellies that indicates that they've been like dropped out of the sky from a UFO.
Interesting.
And I was like, I don't know how
called a bruise.
Called their stomach being caved in. I don't know. It was a
wait,
really
like on their
ridiculous-
body?
Yeah,
He's like,
I
you
saw
guys,
it on, like,
if you-
multiple articles.
Like,
And
you guys, if you look at all of these cows.
specified, like where they called in from, who this person was, or like who they were calling
Bro.
into. I just saw it 2 or 3 times.
I just
and
imagine
was like,
this
what?
guy. I just imagine this guy's like, yeah, if you look at the cows long enough, eventually one of them's gonna have a spot on it. You can see where it's been dropped from a UFO.
Sounds like you've been drinking too much moonshine there, Grandpa.
Maybe.
Get it.
That was a really funny joke.
You're off the podcast.
Okay, get it. You know,
That's again.
goodbye, guys. It's
That's
been
it.
fun.
That's the last one.
Anyways, so
I'm
the
cooked.
first one is one of the 2 human incidents,
Good
and it is
night.
known as or at least how I see it referred to as the Lovett Cunningham incident, or Lovett, however you say his name.
Is this a man and wife combo?
No, it's 2 guys.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
So actually, I'm going to give a tiny bit more background first. So around the late 1940s, after the Roswell and Rainier incident,
Yeah.
The war had
the U.S.
just
Air Force
ended.
started 2 projects. One was named Project Grudge, which was a precursor to Project Blue Book. Both of these were projects.
Oh my god.
In from about 1950 to about 1979, I believe.
Project
1969.
Project
is when
Blue Book is fucking crazy.
It's when Blue Book was essentially
I don't know what.
exterminated, gotten rid of.
What is
because
Blue Book?
Essentially, they were projects by the U.S. Air Force to study UFOs.
Oh, okay.
It's insane,
of
and
the,
it's
like-
all now been mostly, I think, either fully or mostly
of
declassified.
the 12,000, about 600 sightings Blue Book studied, about 700 of them remain not definitively debunked.
Interesting.
I didn't really go too
It's
much into all
crazy.
those, but it's likely that Project Grudge, the precursor,
Yeah.
they released, I believe it was 14 documents or files. There was 14 files. 1 through 12 and 14 were released to the public.
But 13 hasn't?
Report 13 has not been released, and it is suspected that it was about this Cunningham Lovett incident, which happened in March of 1956.
Okay.
And Blue Book was based out of... Project Blue Book was based out of an Air Force base in Ohio. I forget the name of it.
Okay.
I don't have it written down here.
Yeah, it
But it's
wasn't-
largely unrelated because the Lovett Cunningham incident happened in New Mexico, just outside Holloman Air Force Base.
It was outside an Air Force base?
Yes, it was 2 Air Force members.
It's always around
Oh.
the Air Force Base.
The weird thing is, because it's space shit. And they were looking, which was a common thing at the time, and it does relate to the Roswell incident. It was 2 guys, William Cunningham and Jonathan P. Lovett. They were looking for allegedly debris from a missile test, likely a missile testing base,
Okay.
from what I could see. And essentially, they were out there looking for debris. They had driven out there on a Jeep. They're out in some dunes, essentially. I can't tell if it was just outside of the base or just on the outer edges of it. They're alone, more or less, at night too, from what I can tell.
Interesting.
And
Why would you look for debris at night?
most likely
it's a
because
U.S. government test. You don't want it
that,
getting
and
stolen.
if
by
it's
people.
radar deflective shit. Or material,
this is
it's
outside
very
of my-
reflective.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
the
So you can just shine
Roswell
a light
incident.
on it.
That's
You
why,
can shine a light on
if
it.
you
and
look
it
up
would,
stuff from the Roswell incident, that's why everyone thought it was UFOs, because it was very reflective, looked really weird to any normal person in 1947.
Yep.
It was like reflective, weird, it was like looking at aluminum foil, kind of.
Because that's basically what it was.
But weirder, yeah. Essentially. Because that's essentially what radar, like, chaff is.
Yeah.
Deflect radar and crap like that. Anyways, they're looking for this missile debris and random crap like that. And Cunningham, William Cunningham, they're not together at the time, allegedly, like, heard Lovett, like, scream out or something, was like, something happened. He figured, like, he might have gotten bitten by a snake or fallen, something.
Because you're in a desert.
Imagine you just hear like
and then it's just gone. You go over there, there's like a little... The ground's like smoking.
Allegedly, and the thing is, I can't find anything. I couldn't find pictures about either of these guys, or like what seemed
probably
like
classified military stuff.
That's my thinking, is it's classified if it was even real, because I could barely find articles about this specific incident.
That's what the government wants you to think.
If it was real, it's a lot of classified shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, Cunningham allegedly ran over like a dune, saw Lovett, and allegedly he was being pulled by a long snake-like arm into a silver disc, 15 to 20 feet-ish up off the ground.
So the arm was reaching out of the disc, pulling him
like
up.
snaked down and went...
Yep. That's basically what it's described as.
That's horrifying.
Some describe it as a metal arm, snake-like arm. Some of them describe it as a metal rod. Same difference, effectively.
I'm imagining like Dr. Ox.
That's kind of
I'm
how
imagining
I
like a
imagine it as
drain
well.
snake kind of thing.
That's kind of how I imagine.
I'm imagining.
That's fair.
You're not imagining Dr. Octavius?
I mean, yeah.
I think that's a good
My
way to
dad has a
describe
little
it.
thing like that you can grab stuff from far away with. So it's got a little light on the end. You go, boop.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And and I found like a couple of YouTube videos about it. They basically just go over the same thing the one article I found went over, or like the two articles I found on this specific event. And a couple articles like reference it as weird UFO sightings that were major in the 1950s and 40s, 60s, whatever.
So did he get away?
Oh no, he did not get away.
Wait, no, we
haven't
just
gotten there yet.
established we're into the mutilation.
Yo!
So
My God.
Cunningham after the event.
Tucker, I'm telling both of you right now. If
the mutilations get weird.
If we are out in the middle of nowhere and I round the corner and I see any of you getting sucked up, I am booking it.
Oh no, valid.
I am going. You're
trust me.
dead.
We need
Good
to hear-
night.
We need to hear what
Goodbye.
happens to these bodies. Understandable.
It was nice knowing you.
I'm so excited.
All right, so
It was nice knowing you. I am piecing the fuck out.
Cunningham, after this, obviously pretty fucking traumatized and like, what the fuck just happened? Because apparently after this, the disc abducted him, went straight up, allegedly.
He went over a dune, saw his homie go, get sucked into his thing, and then it left, and he was just like,
Precisely.
what?
Yeah. So
He's like, imagine he's like on the radio and he's like, oh guys,
You might want to come take a look at this.
So basically what happened was...
Captain?
Allegedly, he runs back to their Jeep that they drove out in, radios back to the base, and he's like, yo, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
And
One of our
so
homies just got
they get out there,
taken.
they can't find anything. He tells them what happened. If I remember, he either got taken back into the base or immediately, like, put under custody just because, like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, because
This
at
dude
the
got
end of the
abducted.
day...
At that point, you're the only
Which-
suspect, though. That's the thing.
And
Is
so-
they're like, okay, now something weird's going on, and you're the only
Your-
witness
your
That's
partner is
That's kind of
gone.
how he got abducted, or how he got
wrapped up in the
put
whole
under
thing.
investigation.
Yeah.
He was never found guilty or anything, even with what comes later in a minute. But obviously he was the only one that was there, so he kind of is the obvious
Imagine you
suspect.
try to just casually report your friend getting abducted, and then they just like immediately are like, "So what did you have to do with all
Yeah.
this?" And you're like,
I literally watched him get grabbed by a metal arm and sucked into a disc, and then it shot straight up with like 400 miles an hour, dog. I
they're
need therapy.
They're like, "Okay, and now you're on trial for kidnapping."
I need
Basically.
therapy.
Yeah. So anyways,
Get me off this base.
He's like rocking back and forth,
Yeah.
quietly sucking his thumb.
I know he did go from the sites I saw. He supposedly went into like, what do you want to call it? Like mental not like mental rehabilitation, but they were kind of just like
They deadass gave him like therapy.
Probably of some sort, or like kind of
Reprogramming.
something like
Yeah,
that.
okay,
Allegedly.
conspiracy.
Listen.
Anyways,
Listen.
moving on to what happened, because we should probably get to what happened to the other dude.
Oh yeah, the guy that got sucked up.
His body was found 3 days later. about 10 miles from where he was abducted.
Okay.
He was dead.
Yeah.
And now we get into the specifics of the mutilations.
Oh, good night.
I'm so excited.
Essentially, he was nude. He was found 3 days later. He was de-organed for the most part. He had basically no organs in his body. Eyes were cored out, no ears. What else was it? Genitalia extracted.
Extracted?
That's how it was described.
Oh my.
On the front and the anus is what I will.
Have you de-organed?
Yeah. So,
Dude.
and then, and to end it, drained of all blood.
Holy
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Was the body like fresh, or had this
It
clearly
seemed
been
like
out?
it'd been there for like out in the elements for around a day.
Okay, so the point is that's still 2 days unaccounted for.
Yeah, he was gone for at least like a decent period of time, is what it sounds like.
They
there's-
turned
they
turned
turned
him
him
into
inside
a
out.
turkey.
They turned him inside
Yeah,
out.
it's the one.
And this is declassified?
Okay,
No,
I'll
wait,
get
is-
into how this information was allegedly let loose.
What the-
This is okay. So about specific incident, that is literally all.
Did he have
there
a
is.
brain? Was his brain in his head?
Yes, but there are some situations where there wasn't a brain.
What do you mean
I found
some
like one or
situations
two.
where there- oh, okay.
I found one or two later that I'll get into where it's like animals where the brain is gone. I don't know about the brain
So-
for this one. They never specify.
I have a question.
So he's
But it might
missing
be
his
gone.
ears,
Did they
his
s-
eyes, all of his organs, his genitals.
So did he get like cut open and they
all
were
of,
taken out?
all of the cuts were seemingly very precise.
Okay, so he was cut open.
Yes,
Okay.
but
Imagine
they are
if
not
there
like
were like no
but they are
cuts
not
and then
like-
they open him up and it's gone.
But they are not like slashes or anything. They're like
a surgeon?
Yeah, like surgeon, like precision cuts. Later, some of the cuts on animals and other things are described as laser-like, as though they were done with a laser. Or like they were done very precisely. They do not look like rough cuts. Someone like a serial killer would pull out a knife and be like, "Hey, cannibalism!
Yeah,
I
like a
want your
serrate.
liver."
Some of them have, like,
yeah,
serrated
it
and
doesn't
stuff.
sound like that.
That's horrifying.
So like
so
very
scared.
technical is what it sounds like.
That is absolutely
And that's
horrific.
about it for this incident. And
That's it.
That's it? That's all the info we have?
this incident, that's all on it. All I could really find was that allegedly there was some unidentifiable radar activity around the time he was taken.
Oh no!
Wait,
allegedly
was there like high levels of radiation around his body? Was his body radioactive?
We'll get to that.
Oh my god!
no!
This situation, no, there was nothing found radioactive.
Oh my god!
At least nothing that was said.
Brian!
But said radar activity was moving too fast to be taken action towards it.
It was moving too fast.
Allegedly, it was moving to where it wasn't like shootable down. Then again, missiles weren't really much of a thing
cat is
in the
at the door. I can hear her
1950s,
meowing.
The
and
cat went in.
Probably.
anything
Oh,
that
baby.
would have been used in to shoot something small down air to air would have been fairly unadvanced at the time.
So
in the
it's not like
1950s.
laser guided or anything.
Yeah,
No, this
at
was
least, like,
people pointing their
generally
rifles up
this-
at the sky and going pew pew pew.
That or like at the most more mediocre heat-seeking missiles.
Yeah.
And my guess is radar lock, anyways, wasn't really possible.
So were they
it
saying
wasn't-
like if they
wasn't
shot
identified.
something at it, it would move too fast for their missiles?
Wasn't really definitive because again, not much information.
Okay.
It was.
This
well,
is
they
kind
just
of
said it was.
theorizing on my
Well,
end.
yeah, they said it was.
My guess is it was too fast to get a solid radar lock on it, which
Yeah.
means they couldn't like lock, say, a radar camera onto it.
Yeah.
If you've seen the recent videos
Yeah,
from like the
they'll
last
go
20 years or so where you see something moving
Yeah, it'll
really
like
that sort of
snap
thing.
onto it.
Like I watched one video from the one off of the USS Nimitz where it's
Oh,
an
yeah.
F-18 Hornet
Yeah,
using
I know that
essentially
one.
its radar
That
to
one's cool.
lock onto something. And it keeps lock pretty well.
Yeah.
But then once it starts moving quickly, you see the lock break. You can see like it kind of
Yeah.
zoom out. The lock has broken. Then you see it go off screen.
Yep.
absolutely.
Imagine being
I'm
the
assuming it's
poor
something like that.
grunt who like just out for a drive. You're like, man, it's such a nice day in the desert, and then you come across a naked corpse of your friend. You're just like,
Well, there was probably a
massive manhunt.
Search. Yes.
I would hope so.
Because why wouldn't there be?
Well, because also think about it. If they're out there looking for missile tests, this is already something that they probably don't want a lot of people poking around.
And classified area.
Yes, it's classified. And then the person that's supposed to be out there looking for it goes missing under mysterious circumstances. You better believe they're putting everything and everybody on the ground to try and find them.
This is the first one.
This is the first one. And admittedly, this is probably the craziest one.
Okay, we're starting out strong.
We're kind of starting out strong, and if anything, it gets weaker from here, but similar cases.
Dude, that's crazy.
I'm going to be thinking about this. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Sorry.
Good.
Have fun with these dreams tonight. Anyways.
Brian!
You definitely have dreams of that little arm thing go...
Do you want me to jump to the next human case, which was in 1988?
I need a palate cleanser of an animal real quick.
The stuff.
I think I need an animal palate cleanser.
Yeah.
The other human one isn't as bad. It's very vague, and there's less information about it.
That's lame.
Yeah.
I want more information.
And oddly, it's in a very different area compared to everything else, but whatever.
Oh, boy.
Okay, can we just get it out of the way?
All right.
Coward!
No, we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, God damn it.
It's not very exciting and just pretty...
Okay, give me the cows.
Yeah, I want to know about the cow bruises.
I want to know about the cows
there's
with
a
bruises
lot
on their
of
tummies
cows.
that get dropped from UFOs.
There's a lot of cows. Okay, so the next major thing is in 1967 in Colorado. And Colorado will be a reoccurring place for this one.
You know, I've been to Colorado. Beautiful countryside.
Fair enough. This part,
That's where
not
Coors
as
is
beautiful.
from.
Also aliens, apparently.
So,
Colorado, homes
Have
of
you guys
Coors and
ever-
aliens.
and the blue horse.
a lot of aliens.
And the blue horse.
Alright, so have y'all ever heard of a horse named Snippy?
Yes! Yes! Oh my god, I know all about this. Wait, sorry.
Yes. Alright.
No, Brian, give me the
essentially,
rundown.
this horse named Snippy, largely referred to as Snippy, was a horse, I believe it was a 3-year-old, I forget the breed of horse because that wasn't really important, that was alive for a period of time. From 1964 to 1967. In 1967,
That's
on
a really
September
young horse.
7th, yes, quite
Horses
young.
can live for a
it's
really
prob-
long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like fully grown by that point.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fully grown, but it's not
a
an
young
old horse. Yeah.
Anyways, on the evening of, I believe it was September 7th, I didn't really get the names of the ranchers because it wasn't really that important to the story in most of these. Basically, said horse, it was never determined whether it was a male or female horse, so I'm just going to say
it was a
the
girl.
horse. I think it was supposed to be a girl, but some of the
it was a girl.
things were like, oh, maybe it was a guy, and they got the names mixed up.
No,
I was
I'm
like,
pretty
I
sure
don't know what
Snippy's a
they're on
girl.
about, so I'm just saying the horse. Or I'll call her a girl for now, because that's
So
how
does
her
this
first
mutilation
horse is.
matter to the gender
Yes.
of the horse? Oh.
Actually, no, not really. The gender of the horse, no. I just thought you meant like the overall picture, and I was like, yes, this matters. This is the first major one that is on an animal that I could find, and the first one in Colorado I could find.
Okay.
Which, take in mind, Colorado, because I always get this confused on a map, is really close to New Mexico. It is directly north of it. And where this happened was in, if I'm correct, Alamosa, which is very southern Colorado. It's basically almost
like,
at the border with New Mexico.
As close to New Mexico as you can get, basically.
Yep, essentially.
Without
It's probably
actually
like,
being in New
probably
Mexico.
Like 50 miles,
Yeah.
probably like 50 miles away or something. Close by. So these are relatively in a similar area, though there are some others from outside the Colorado, New Mexico area. Anyways, Snippy went missing on September 7th after going for an evening drink, allegedly. And a search was made up, and the corpse was found on the 9th, about a quarter mile from her usual stables. Similar situation, mutilated, drained of blood. There was no tracks around the corpse or anything, same with the Lovette situation. And a weird one in this situation, this I do have a picture of. The meat of the horse from the shoulders and head completely gone. Like cleanly cut off, completely
It had
above the
been
shoulders.
completely deep.
You have a photo?
Y'all wanna see the picture?
Yes!
I've seen these pictures. It has been completely defleshed from the neck up. Clean cut.
What?
Yeah. Kind of a crazy photo.
What?
And this is like a 1960 photo, so it's kind of crazy.
Absolutely not.
But again, from what I could tell,
And like the rest of
it
the body
also-
doesn't match any kind of levels of decomposition that you would expect. Also,
decomposition. And to be fair, it was only gone 2 days, but it was also like
and also like
deorganed generally other ways, and all the cuts seemed very clean again, very
Bro.
precise.
Yeah,
similar
it wasn't
sort of
like hacked
situation.
off. Like
No, that thing alone looks like you like if you were to take a thing and then go whoop, and it was all the meat's gone.
But the bone is still there just fine.
Bone is
It's the
there
weird
perfectly,
thing.
and it's in like a death
And
position
the bones
too.
get weirder as well. So there was no blood around the scene either. Keep in mind, this isn't like an actively bleeding corpse or
No,
anything. It's
no.
like it was
Well,
drained of
also,
blood,
it's-
and it's just.
it's also like it's clearly hasn't been scavenged by anything.
no.
Because
Most of these animals were, from what it seemed like, very avoided by scavengers like coyotes, vultures,
interesting.
I mean, I don't blame him. Did you see that thing?
Fair.
I wouldn't be going near that either.
Probably no meat. Well, the thing is, in a lot of these situations, organs are gone. Good, like, eating meat that a wolf or animals would go after, not there, which is why that's kind of been ruled out, because the meat is still there.
It's like what's left is like vultures and maybe coyotes.
Yeah. Well, in one of them, I forget which, because I didn't write it down, there was a case where I believe it was a dead cow, and there were like a few dead vultures around the corpse. Ooh. But it didn't. That was like a one-off reference. I don't even remember which
That's
of the cases
cool,
it
though.
was, but it was like, why would that happen?
I like that a lot.
So who knows?
It's been
how that happened.
poisoned.
But anyways, by the 23rd of September, so about 2 weeks later, because she was found on the 9th, the bones had turned black, which is odd. I don't know if that's a normal thing that happens with death
No.
or bones, but I kind of figure
Generally.
probably not.
No.
Well, what's weird is they turned black, and then allegedly they were restored, and Snippy's, or at least restored, or other horse bones, Snippy's, what's it called? Skeleton, yes, thank you. Are now in a museum in Colorado.
Allegedly,
Based on,
it's
like,
Snippy.
UFO sightings. Yeah, it might be
It
different
might just be
bones
some random horse
that was,
because
like, similar
if I'm
sized,
remembering
which
correctly,
would
because
make
I
sense.
listened to a whole nother podcast episode about Snippy the horse specifically, and it's like
Yep.
the bones got passed around, they got lost for a little while, they got bought on
That's
eBay,
exactly
it ended
kinda
up
what
in
happened with
somebody's
them.
basement.
They were like going
So-
around for like $50,000 every time because
So
it was
like
a big
nobody
thing in the
knows.
area.
Yeah. So like nobody
makes
knows if
sense.
this is actually Snippy, but it is a skeleton of a horse
Yep.
that allegedly is
That's
Snippy the
that's
horse.
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy case. The other interesting thing is, and here's where we get into the radiation. This is really the only one where there was much radiation.
Okay.
But allegedly there was a bunch of squashed bushes around the corpse.
Okay.
Like it had
And-
been trampled down
Yes,
and then
as
like
though it
laid
had been
down.
trampled or something, or like squashed somehow. And in a couple of, it was a different case. I'll get to that case later. In this one, there was someone used a Geiger counter.
Oh, a Geiger
which-
counter?
Geiger, I might be pronouncing it
It's
wrong.
Geiger.
Geiger.
It's a radiation level
Yep.
measurer thing. It
Yep.
goes.
And that
You've ever
allegedly
taken one of
read-
those into a thrift store?
Well, I mean, yeah, they have like what
Do I
radion
want-
glass,
Yeah, radium.
radium. They
And
used
also-
to make dishes and stuff because it would glow, and they'd paint them in
Oh.
watches for like glow in the
Oh
dark
yeah,
stuff.
those like green.
If you ever,
ones.
yeah, if you ever
My
take
parents
a,
have some of those.
if you ever take a Geiger counter into an antique mall and you like put it next to a lot of dishware, even stuff that isn't made with radium, anything that has
It was
that is
near
just
it.
radioactive.
Also,
Likely.
Also, like old paint and stuff.
a lot of the
That
women
seems
who
right for
painted
me.
stuff on that also got like horrible burns on their skin and stuff.
Cancer.
And
Oh yeah, their
Yay.
jaws dissolved.
Yeah,
Jesus.
because I think did they
The radium girls.
because they
I do-
lick it
I
to
do
put it on the
believe-
paintbrush.
That's
Yeah, the radium
so fun.
girls.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's
Not to be confused with the matchstick girls, which a similar thing happened
yes.
because they
And
were working with.
We can't even really talk about this on this because it's literally just a fact. It's not like supposedly fake.
We need to have a spin-off.
A spin-off where we talk about
We can
very
barely consistently upload
a spin-off where we
one.
could talk about very factual and true
Very
conspiracy theories that were
definitely
proven to
real,
be true.
That could be
definitely
cool.
real and true things that for
Climate
sure
change
happened.
for one. Anyways, getting back to Snippy, there was high radiation marks allegedly in the surrounding where the corpse was, kind of as though like something had been there. Out of the ordinary.
Was it
Whether
like-
it be an aircraft or like
Yeah, was
flying
it like
object
in
or
a-
something weird?
Was it in a discernible pattern where it was like a circle of radiation?
In some of these, there were crop circles that were like crushed down.
I love crop circles.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
I love crop
Like the
circles.
type of thing you'd see in a movie of the stereotypical UFO coming down that's perfectly round
Or it's like
saucer,
blowing down the
the
grass and
crops in an area, because everyone's seen that in a movie. I bet if you've seen a
I've seen
single
it in
movie with aliens.
Ben 10 Alien Force. You
Yeah,
guys should watch,
exactly.
You
It's in
guys should watch
everything.
Ben 10 Alien Force.
So yeah, that was kind of
Tucker-
the first notable case in Colorado, which was an interesting one. That was in
R.I.P.
1967.
Snippy?
Yep, R.I.P. Snippy.
Real.
Unfortunate. Did not
Shout out
deserve
to a
it.
real one.
So then-
That guy also didn't deserve it, but a special R.I.P. to Snippy.
yeah, so true.
He definitely got violated before they yanked all his organs and shit out. That's
You know,
awful.
honestly, at that
Probably.
point, this is going to sound kind of macabre, but after experiencing a trauma like that, do you really want to be alive afterwards?
No.
Exactly.
fair.
I'd rather they kill me.
I mean, they got both his ears chopped off, his eyes are gone, all his organs are
Oh no, they
gone.
cored out his eyes. Like it's a clean
Like a little
cord.
ice cream scoop?
Kind of. I
Grab his
I imagine
nuts
it.
off.
I imagine it like you've got.
If I ever get abducted by an alien, I swear to God, they had better kill me.
What
Or-
part do you
What
think
if
they
they,
started with?
Educate you.
No, unless they're hot.
Dude, Mass Effect? All I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, Daphne.
You ever played Mass
All
Effect?
right.
You ever play Mass Effect?
If I ever get
should.
if
No, I
I
didn't
ever
too.
get abducted, I hope to God they just kill me because I'm not
Again,
recovering
what
from that.
part do you think they removed first?
I would like to think in my heart of hearts that they ethically put him down.
I
before
don't
they
think
did that.
so.
Oh, you're
Based
right. They
on what they
probably
did.
vivisected
They
him.
grabbed him by the leg
probably.
and drug him across the sand.
That's
and
how it was
stuffed him
described in
into
the
a
one YouTube
saucer.
video who like animated it, which to be fair, it just had
There
this-
was an animation.
No. It's not like vivid or anything. It's more so just a YouTube video animating the same stuff.
It's not
in an
even like
article.
one of those abductions where you like feel like you're getting woozy and you like fall asleep
It's
and you
you
wake up
getting
and
grabbed going, ah!
That's kind of how it's described,
part,
yeah.
That's part of the trauma. They're doing that to fuck with you. They're not trying to
for
hide it.
sure.
Do you think it's
100%.
because they knew that they were gonna kill him
They want to
anyway?
study the brain too, how fear works.
True, literally.
Oh my
Probably.
god. You know
I
how
feel
like
like-
in It where it's like, yeah, when you're scared it makes the kids taste better.
Yep.
Do you think
Yeah,
when
I
it's
do
like
know
it's
what
like
you're
you're
talking about.
it's like when you're afraid it makes the
It can't
science more
kill you unless you're
sciencey.
afraid. I mean, that's probably some reasoning someone used in like Japan in 1944 or something. I'm not gonna lie.
Yikes.
Next episode, we'll be getting into war crimes.
Woohoo! They're all fictional. Not
I
actually.
swear, guys.
Not actually. They're not fictional. They're not fictional, guys.
Anyways, so there was a lot of basically going on through the 70s, and weirdly specifically the 70s. There was a lot of cases of cattle mutilation.
Yeah.
Almost all
I
of them
thought you were right to say
specifically.
just sightings in general, and as that to be like,
no, not
yeah,
sightings.
everybody was
I mean,
zoinked
some
out of their
sightings.
mind. It was the 70s.
Nope. Dead cows. Organs gone.
I
Blood
mean-
removed.
Not
Brains.
That's
gone.
essentially what it is.
Stomach bruised.
That's essentially what these are. Is almost every case. There was some in Colorado, some in like Nebraska. There was a couple in Idaho. There's a couple all over the country, but
All over,
largely in
yeah.
the Midwest and like
yeah.
Rockies.
You mean like
mountains
where there's a
areas.
lot of cows?
Fair enough.
I mean,
honestly.
still, but fair point.
Dude, I should ask my dad if any of his cows have been abducted. Cool story. Well, I guess
Go
somewhat
for it.
cool story.
Side tangent.
Side tangent.
yeah.
When Mount St. Helens erupted, we got ash all the way out to where my
Ash
dad
cow,
lived.
ash cow.
And the cows were eating the grass covered in ash, and they ground all of their teeth out of their mouth.
Poor
That's
cows.
not very smart.
No, well, I mean, they needed to eat the grass.
I mean, good point.
They probably got so many minerals while they were doing it though.
oh, for sure.
Oh,
but they also
definitely.
had no teeth, so
What minerals do you think?
whatever's in a volcano, I would
Carbon.
assume. Yeah, carbon,
A lot of carbon, probably.
sodium,
That's probably about it.
whatever else is in ash, rock,
I don't
More
know.
carbon.
more carbon,
Burnt carbon.
burnt ash, burnt rock, burnt tree.
Extra carbon. Side of carbon.
Dude, what do you think it tasted like?
Can I just
Carbon.
It's like a salt lick. It's like, well, that's so good and
Yeah.
tasty. Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, you're good. There was hundreds of cases of this between like the late 60s when the Snippy one happened and the 70s. And these are like fairly well documented ones. I could find like I think it was 5 30-page long like FBI documents of them being basically asked to investigate lots of cases, largely in Colorado. There was some in New Mexico, various other states, Idaho, like I said, Nebraska, a few other states. Anyways, and it was largely just be like, yeah, there was this crazy ass cow mutilation. Couple were mutilated. This rancher's like, what the fuck happened? I'm losing money over this.
imagine you're just
Drained of
sitting
blood,
at your desk
no organs.
and they're like, "Hey Jimmy, we got another cow mutilation over here."
Dag nabbit.
And he's like, "Ah, shucks."
Yeah, and No, like, scene of the crime around the corpse.
Yeah.
No blood around it. Not really any footprints or anything like that.
No cattle rustlers.
Yeah, nothing like that.
I don't know if cattle rustlers are like cutting cows open and taking all their organs
They're
and
not.
draining their blood.
Same thing. They'd take, like, the genitalia again.
Did they?
All that sort of
did
thing.
they
These
try?
are freaky aliens.
Were these like?
Kind of.
Wasn't there like a thing where they were worried for like a split second? Because I'm sure there was probably some mom at home reading the paper about this and being like, "Oh my God, it's all the kids getting into Satanism, sacrificing cows."
There was FBI theories that ranged from like cults, crazy shit like that.
Guys, I'm so good.
pranksters. Though I don't know who's doing this kind of a prank. One of them was listed as unknown government agencies, and I was like, I don't know who the hell's doing that, but
People
The
that
CIA.
the CIA and the FBI are just beefing with each other,
Like,
and they're
yeah,
just
quite literally
Dude,
beefing when
let's
it comes
kill
to
a
these
creator.
guys.
literally beefing.
Ah, dude.
Putting the FBI to useless work.
Let's
The guys at the CIA are like, the guys at the FBI office are gonna love this.
Let's drain another cow of blood and take all its organs, dude. It's gonna be so funny.
It's like a brother. It's like two brothers that
Literally.
work for different agencies.
Literally. Like,
Get
this is
back at
gonna
each
be
other.
great.
And of course, one of the most common theories, since they couldn't explain all the other ones with no evidence at the scene of the crime, the like weird precision of all these cuts and organ removal, the most common theory kind of ended up being that it's crazy. It might be extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
which is kind of just a who knows, because unfortunately,
It's a fact.
I love that it's
unfortunately, the FBI was basically told they can't investigate any of these anymore because of jurisdictional issues. Was the listed reason, which reeks of cover up, if you ask me.
Interesting.
It's like that small town, and then like you get like the big old cop come in and is like, "This is my case now."
Yeah,
and then
you're
like
on.
the FBI shows up.
Well-
They're like, "Actually, this is my case now." And then it's
Essentially.
like,
Because local police were like, what the fuck? So
Yeah.
this happened enough to where the FBI was like, okay, this is kind of weird. We should look into this. Because this happened all throughout the 70s, hundreds of times.
What's weird is, I don't know if you're leading up to this, is you don't hear about that at all anymore.
There's a couple recent situations of it.
Okay.
I'll get to those a bit later.
good night.
Yeah.
No, I'm just, you
In
know what?
various
I'm going to
places.
choose to believe that this ended in the 70s and doesn't happen anymore.
Fair.
Brian's gonna be like, yeah, anyway,
Anyway, here's the one for that happened yesterday.
last weekend, a cow was found drained of blood with all its organs gone.
We'll get there.
It was found in...
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah! It was found in Corvallis, Oregon.
It was found in Tillamook.
Here's like,
It was found 1 hour from our house.
it was found in our house.
5 miles east of here. No.
Absolutely. The way I'm going to walk out that door.
The light just starts like getting a little brighter right outside my window. We're like, yo, what's that? Open it. The metal hand descends. Ah!
Grabs
Okay,
all three of us.
the
mid-recording.
reason alien shit makes me so nervous is because it's part of me is like, what if they're listening right now? And if
That's
the more
fair.
you talk about it, the more they're like, oh, we're gonna get this one because she's a loose cannon.
If
Then
aliens
no.
are listening, you can take Daphne.
no,
So true.
no,
You
I'm
can
good.
take Daphne.
No,
You
no,
can
no,
have
no,
her.
no,
you
no,
can,
no.
You can cut her open. You can take her organs. I don't care.
You know,
She's all yours.
for science.
If all right, listen. If the aliens
mean
are
by
listening, Brian and I will spew your propaganda, whatever you want to say, as long as we're not getting cut
Bars.
open, as long as I'm not getting my balls cut off, not getting my eyes cored out. I'll say whatever you want me to say. You can have Daphne too.
So true.
Do I get to take Miss Hudson with me?
That's up to the aliens, I guess.
Aw.
They might do the same to her.
No, actually, Miss Hudson's
She,
so good.
I don't think she. I
Drain all her
don't
blood.
think she deserves that. Because they don't discriminate. It's not only humans.
It's cows and horses too.
Cows and horses.
They might do it to the cats.
No,
Might do it to the cats.
not the cats.
They're too small to be found.
I think
Too
the cats. I
fast.
think the cats are actually just their leaders.
I'd believe that.
think
Miss
they go-
Hudson's the one
They
draining
go-
blood
The cat-
of
the
people.
cats
They
are
go,
behind
oh,
it
what
all.
an interesting little creature we
Cat
have
with like
here.
its little claw just going pulling
Just
out the
like-
liver. Tasty.
Ooh, an eyeball. Yeah. Good visual recommendation, Ryan.
Good night.
Anyway, so there's a lot of these, and the FBI kind of just never fully investigated them. Or if they did, it was never, like, documented very well. Probably confidential if it was, though, to be fair. So that kind of moves us on to the next case that was et al. Documented, which is in 1988, and this is the other human case. This one is very vague. 1988.
Damn.
So about
40 years ago, 35-ish years ago.
36 years ago.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Oh my god.
And this one's very vague. There was very little about it.
They're just like, somebody's gone. Who cares?
Essentially, it was in Brazil, oddly enough.
Brazil?
What? How do we know?
Yep.
It was actually
we jumped
just
from
the
the
cartel.
U.S. to Brazil. I don't think the actually.
I don't know.
fast,
They be.
so
I don't know.
Don't
people,
talk too much about them.
People
They
be
might get
killing
us.
people in all sorts of weird ways.
She kind of right. Anyways,
kinda.
it was just south of Sao Paulo, on the where is it? I'm gonna butcher this name, but the Guaraparanga Reservoir. It's just like a nature reservoir, essentially, from what I could tell.
Nice.
It's a pretty large area. I think it was like 100 and something square miles. I forget exactly how large it is. Very large area. Largely swamp from what I remember looking at it. I didn't really look too much into it because there was very little information about this.
Okay, whatever.
But essentially a human corpse was found that had seemingly been exposed to the elements for a day or two. Same symptoms as Levette in 56. Organs gone, shit poured out, drained of blood. Really weird stuff, and the man was never identified, or at least not anything I could find. So,
Well, I assume it's
And
kind of
that was
hard to
about-
identify a corpse that's
Fair.
been horrifically mutilated. Of course, I guess if maybe you can
That's
get like
fair.
fingerprints. I don't know how.
True. Well, from what it sounds like, it's not like they took fingers, but they might have. You never know.
Well, because it's like also you don't know if
But was
there's.
fingerprinting even used heavily in 1988 in
Yes.
Brazil?
Oh, and I don't know about.
Yeah. Like I know it
but-
in the U.S. it was used by them,
Yeah.
but,
But it's
I don't
like-
know about other countries.
You know, it's like trying to look at missing persons reports
Yeah.
and
Always
eyewitness
difficult.
accounts, and if there's no reported people missing, then it can be really hard to figure out who this person could possibly
Yeah.
be.
That's what
with
I was
absolutely
thinking.
no leads.
I could not find anything unlike the Cunningham Levette case of there being eyewitness reports of what happened here. So
Okay.
They probably got their eyes cored out.
that may
least
be the
one
case.
somebody did.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the other.
They
dude,
saw
the
too
only other
much.
person there
Yeah, maybe
was-
they didn't even find him.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he was taken, and
He wasn't as lucky as the
he's
other
a
guy.
few stars away right now.
He's not as lucky as the guy in 56?
Would you
Dunzo.
call that lucky? I don't know if I'd call that lucky, Tucker.
You didn't get your...
Could you imagine though being that guy that watched your friend get like drug away?
No.
And then they find
Oh yeah,
their body,
and I could find
it's like-
nothing about Cunningham afterwards. The dude who saw it happen.
Probably because they murked his ass.
That or like honestly,
the
yeah, I
aliens
believe it.
came back.
That's another thing. I don't like
came
those
back to
stories where
finish
it's
the
like people get
job.
re-abducted over and over again.
Yeah, and what I will get into, since that's kind of the end of that specific case, because there was hardly anything about it, is how we heard about the Cunningham Levette incident, because I kind of never specified that.
Yeah.
The extent of it being heard about was, I know I wrote it down here somewhere. I just gotta find it. Because there was a very common conspiracy theorist around that time that was alive until like 2001.
Was he a conspiracy theorist or was he like an
He was a conspiracy theorist that was
guy?
ex-military, and he allegedly saw that 13th document of Project Grudge, and allegedly that was the Air Force looking into the Cunningham Levette incident. Allegedly it was like a 600-page document of them looking into this incident, trying to find information about it.
And this guy just like read it really quick and was like, okay,
Yep.
got it.
Here it is. Allegedly, Report 13 of Project Grudge was about the Levette Cunningham incident, and it was leaked by William Cooper, who was a very common... I know in
D.B.
a couple
Cooper?
things... No, I don't think so.
That's a hijacker.
I know.
That's
I
a
just
little
like the
different.
last. Every time I hear the last name Cooper.
Fair. But he was a really, like, widespread conspiracy theorist. Some things I saw referred to him as the father of conspiracy theories.
Interesting.
Because he
Yikes.
led to a lot of conspiracy theories. And allegedly him and one other guy, who I couldn't find anything about the other guy. I didn't even write down his name because I just couldn't find anything about him. Both read Project, or saw this Report 13, and allegedly leaked the information about it.
Okay.
And
they got
that's
marked.
the thing is, William Cooper, this guy, he lived until 2001.
That we know of.
Fair.
I mean, I guess.
So who knows? But it's kind of hard to, like, from what I found of the Cunningham Levette incident, honestly sounds like someone could have just made that shit up.
Yeah.
But I found, like, enough articles of it to where I was like, this seems like there's something happened.
It's also,
but it's weird.
like, specifically in the mutilations, I feel like a lot of it is way too specific to be, like,
Fair.
made up. Because they're like,
Yep.
if it's, like, detailed, like, yeah, his eyes were, especially, the thing that really stands out to me is that the eyes were cored out. Because no one would be like,
I should mention,
With,
the
like, laser-
genitalia were also cored out. They were not, like, cut off or anything.
like they took a screw and
That's kind of what it seems like, yeah.
Good night.
ow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like something that you don't normally see. Normally, it'd be like, oh, the eyes were like plucked out of their head or whatever, but like cored out is very interesting.
Yep.
That's
it's
so
odd.
fucking gross.
So allegedly that was how it was leaked.
Okay.
I don't know how much evidence there was to that. The other thing I will mention, since I'm kind of in the area of the Blue Book and Project Grudge, when Blue Book ended in 1969, it was the results were deemed as no UFO reported, investigated, or evaluated by the U.S. Air Force was ever an indication of threat to our national security. And nothing... and they also basically said that nothing they found was beyond the realm of modern scientific knowledge that they had studied or discovered anyways. So they didn't consider anything to be, like, majorly a threat or important. Or at least that's what they publicly
like, "This
said
doesn't
when Blue
matter
Book
at
was
all."
closed.
Interesting.
And since
Don't
then,
look any deeper.
Since then, at least the Air Force, from what I found, has never really looked largely into any unidentified objects.
Interesting. We need to get Griffin on this now, brother.
Griffin does not.
Yeah, I was going to say, he does not want to be
want
associated with the Air Force conspiracy.
I want to
theories.
see this document. I'm curious.
Go grab us the receipts.
Come on, mail it to me.
Yeah.
Get you and your family killed by the U.S. government.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
But the last few cases of this are all actually very recent ones. One of which is in 2019. There was 4 mutilated calves in Colorado. Similar cases as before.
I'm just gonna choose to believe that this didn't happen. Sorry, Brian.
Colorado's not that
happened,
far
Daphne.
away, by the way.
I'm good.
It's like a...
No, this all ended in the 70s.
You're going to find the livestock. You're going to find the fish because of your
Bro,
job. You're going to find the poured out fish.
imagine someone comes up with a whole basket. They're like, I just found these in the lake. All the fish, they're sliced open, no organs, eyes are cored out, no blood. What are you doing?
I'm going.
You're
I'm
find
gonna
it,
call
Daphne.
OSP, and then I'm gonna hand it over to the authorities. Then I'm gonna walk away.
That would eat you
You're
alive.
going to get interviewed by the FBI.
If a man in black knocks on my front door, starts asking for me, I don't live here.
Yeah, I'm throwing you to the house. Yeah, she's upstairs. Do you want to come in?
Yeah, you guys actually.
Oh, yeah. One other thing I forgot
I'll
to
trade you her
mention
for
is
the document 13, please.
a lot of these cases that happened in the 70s, a lot of them, when the ranchers or, like, owners of the cattle were interviewed or asked about things the days before the disappearance of their cattle or death of their cattle, a lot of them were like, oh yeah, we saw some weird lights the other night when it happened.
Good
Or
night.
like something.
That's
it's just
the
like,
shit.
that's about the furthest that ever
Absolutely
went. But
not.
again, it's just one of those things that's like, that's weird. That's suspicious. So yeah, that's weird. But anyways, back to the 2019 cases. There was the 4 mutilated calves in Colorado. Cored out eyes, no blood at the scene, drained. Nothing at the
organs.
scene, drained of blood.
Classic.
Not all
Yada
of them
yada yada.
specified that all the organs were gone, but I'm kind of assuming some were gone.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot, maybe all.
Well,
maybe
hey, it's
not
been
really
it's
any.
been a long time. Maybe they've already studied
Maybe
those
they've
organs.
changed their
They've
methods.
moved on.
They are.
Like, this
going
is
for more
old
cows.
news. We
We
don't
don't
know
need
these cows.
all of
There's
them.
2 more. One in 2019, one in 2023.
No.
Just last year.
No.
And the
No.
other 2019 one was a case in Eastern Oregon.
No. Dude,
It was
no.
similar, and in this case, it was specified that it was 6 bulls.
Wait,
So-
where in Eastern Oregon?
I don't remember, but I could probably find it if you
You
want
should
to
find
know.
it. Please find it.
I'll find it.
Imagine it's like
once I
outside of
end my
Heppner,
section.
Oregon. I'm
Where's Heppner again? I don't remember.
Do you have family in Heppner?
no.
Oh.
That's just where we go hunting. And if this happens
Yo!
out there,
You're gonna
I swear
find-
to,
you're
I
gonna find
swear
it
to
out.
God,
God,
Dad,
dude.
you're going to find an elk, and it will have its eyes cored out.
Dad, if you're listening to
Its
this,
organs will be
Dad,
gone.
I swear to God, I'm never going into the woods again.
Stripped above the shoulders and head.
Think of the podcast episode
That would be
we
kind
could
of
make
crazy.
out of
As
that
long as
No.
you get some
dog.
good pictures,
Absolutely
be
not.
like,
You
"Guys,
two can
guess what
go.
I found."
You two can go. I will remember
That
you
would
fondly.
be so cool.
That's
Absolutely
unfortunate.
not.
You're missing out on the clout.
Absolutely not.
Anyways,
I'll be
so
the sane one that
it
hides
was
in the car.
a similar situation, and this article about the organ case had another picture. So I do have that as well. It was basically same symptoms, no trace of the crime. They looked around.
Let me see
couldn't
this.
find anything.
Let me see.
We'll get there.
Brian! Sorry.
You gotta build attention.
And this one looks funky. It is obviously drained of blood and like not much in that cow.
It's like its skin is there and its bones are there, but all the meat is gone.
I would like
Yep.
to see.
It's like a bag of...
Tucker, you get to see. It's like a bag.
Yeah, it's
You
like
guys
someone
will
took
see
the
as
skin
long
of
as we
a
edit
cow
it in.
and draped it
Yep.
over the skeleton of a cow.
Essentially, it's like they extracted even the meat too. In this case,
Well, they just wanted some burgers that time.
Yeah, that...
fair enough. Might have been a good bowl.
Can you... Yeah, can
cow,
you...
whichever it is.
Can you figure out where that is? Because,
I'll look it up because we're nearing the end of my section.
Okay.
I'll look it up right afterwards.
you'll just spout it out in the middle of my section, and I'm gonna go...
I'll try to find it pretty quick. But
Dad, I know you're listening right now. I swear to God, right here, right now, I am never going into Eastern Oregon again if this is where this is happening.
Daphne's dad, you guys are going to find this. I'll make sure of it. No.
Brian's gonna plant it in the
Okay,
woods.
Dad, have fun during elk season. Bye.
I'm gonna lure in the aliens
Dude,
to
I'll
your
go.
location.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Stacy, if you're listening to this, I'll go alien hunting with you. That would be so fun. I don't think I met.
Would your dad want to go alien hunting?
I don't think I met your dad a single time. He seems like a
Please
cool guy.
contact us
I mean,
and let us
it's-
know. We're planning a trip.
He is related to you, so he's got to be at least a little crazy.
Tucker has a very good point.
Where do you think I get it from?
Probably both.
No, it's entirely my dad.
I would say definitely your dad. Your mom is a very nice person. I like her a lot.
True.
My mom.
definitely
I
my
am
dad.
my mom turned up to 11. My mom doesn't say a lot of the things.
She's a very sweet lady.
Yeah, she's also 5'2".
She's a very sweet lady.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember my
She
name
doesn't
all
know
the
which one of you. Oh, Mom, if you're listening, Brian is the tall one with brown hair.
I mean,
time. With
I
the
feel
sexy
like
voice.
don't. Yeah. Okay.
Not to be confused
I
with
was-
the other tall one with blonde hair. That's Brady.
I was gonna say I feel like most people recognize me off of my voice, and I've been told that many a time.
He
so
does have the radio voice, I will say.
allegedly, but yeah.
I mean,
I
you got a
guess
nice
we'll see
deep
what people
voice.
say about that.
Is that all you have, or is there more?
There was one more case in 2023, which is similar.
Another
to
one
these
of-
That
other two.
wasn't the one for 2023?
No, that was another 2019 case.
Oh, okay, okay.
There was in Texas for this one.
Oh, okay.
There was 6 mutilated cows. One thing I forgot to mention, there was a case in a lot of these. The tongues were specifically cut out, like cleanly from. It seemed like in the humans and because it did happen in the humans as well. I just didn't mention it. And the cows,
Like way back
from
in the
the
throat?
lower jaw. Yeah, like it was cut back far back.
Okay, so like where they would like connect like the back.
Yeah,
of your
like
throat.
theoretically 12 inches back into the throat.
Interesting.
The tongue is cut out cleanly, which is odd. But tongue, I guess. I don't know. Cow tongue is a food. Maybe they were hungry.
They're like, this is weird. I wonder why humans eat this.
Let's
Gotta
give it a shot.
Yeah.
You guys, this is a regional dish
Yeah.
from Earth. I'm doing it for my Earth project.
And if I remember right,
This is a science project for like a high schooler.
High school
God, that'd be
aliens.
so-
They're like,
Guys, I found a
Yo, wait,
human!
so those saucers, are those their versions of like cars?
It's like a bus.
they're on a
pulled
magic school
They're a
bus.
field trip.
Guys, we're making a stop past Earth.
And
Little
here-
Jimmy over here has a science project.
With the frizz? No way!
So yeah, that's an interesting one. And in that case, in Texas, that was the one where there was, what's it called?
Radiation?
Not radiation. There was a lot of like stamped down.
Oh, crop circles?
Crop circles, and like I remember, I think it was that one that specifically specified there was like a weird tripod of stamped down stuff.
Like someone was like standing there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or like
like
a
the landing
large,
gear.
like a landing gear type thing of an aircraft. Allegedly, whether that happened, who knows? But it was the same thing.
It was actually the Millennium Falcon. My bad, guys.
The Millennium Falcon, if I remember correctly, does have 3 landing gears. They're
See,
all
look at me,
very
I'm so
flat and
smart.
square.
I don't
though,
think
if I'm
Han
correct.
Solo would like steal a cow and rip all its blood. And
Yeah, I'm
You
not
don't
sure if
know
that's
that.
maybe would
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca might have.
Chewbacca
No,
might
he
be
would have
hungry.
just eaten it though.
That's fair.
He wouldn't
You
have gone.
got a good point. He also would have cooked it.
Yeah,
To be fair, he might have just taken the.
he's not a savage.
True. Yeah, that is a good point. And Wookiees don't use their claws
No.
unless they are savages, or then they're deemed savages if they do, especially in combat. Anyways, that's
Star Wars lore. Star Wars lore.
Star
We should
Wars
start a
lore
Star Wars
episode.
podcast. Honestly, you're off, Daphne.
I like the sound of that.
You're, okay,
Tucker.
you know what? I will gladly not be involved in
That
that.
would be sick.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian's like, you've piqued my interest.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Anyways, that's about all of it for me. There's
Now that you've been yapping
I was gonna say I've been yapping for like 45 minutes. To
Don't
be fair,
worry.
Tucker did too.
I have a little bit extra when Brian's done.
Really?
For alien stuff, yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
A
about.
little tiny
All
bit
right,
extra.
I will let you get into that because that's about the end of my section of mutilated corpses.
Okay.
Yay.
Specifically by
Thank
aliens
you,
is what I think.
Brian.
I-
I had a great time.
I really
can't wait
like
to
your
never
segment a
invite
lot.
you on this ever again.
That's quite rude.
Brian,
But fair
I'll
enough.
invite
Brian, you
back.
really did come in clutch, though.
Honestly, for you literally starting this research at like maybe 10 o'clock the day we're filming this, kind of crazy.
Fair enough.
So,
No, I found so much peak.
Actually,
I
okay, so seeing as we've been at this for an hour and 40 minutes, can we pause so I can go in the bathroom?
can I say my little thingy? It's not that long.
Okay, fine.
All right, so the little item I have here, what does this look like to you, first off?
Powdered sugar.
Looks more like cocoa. Anyway,
Booger sugar?
would you like me to tell you what this is?
Is that, Mount St. Helens ash?
This is Roswell UFO crash site dirt.
What? Mm-hmm. Can we eat it?
No.
Oh.
So I went
Mix
to
that in my cocoa, baby.
I went to NOAC over the summer, and there's a lodge from New Mexico that was handing out UFO crash site dirt. So I have a little bit of the dirt where the UFO
Is that
Roswell.
ethical?
I don't know.
To
actually,
take dirt from one state and how do you?
I mean, they didn't sell it; they gave it out for free.
I know, but still, like transporting.
There is, but yeah.
How do you know there's not like
I'd like you to
microorganisms?
hold it just a second. And now that the alien tracker is in your skin, my job here is done. Okay, we can take a break.
I'm gonna cry.
We can take a break real quick.
Okay, we're back. So
We
also,
are
okay,
back.
Tucker, let me just say, you.
What?
How dare you?
What?
How dare you make me hold that?
Hold what?
The UFO dirt.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just letting you know now. You're getting a possessed doll for Christmas. I'm ordering it off of eBay and I'm hiding it under your bed.
It's
you
gonna
to
be
find.
gone within seconds.
I'm not gonna tell you when I get it. I'm just gonna wait for
If
you to start
I
coming to me with
look
weird.
under my bed and there is a doll, I am not gonna be happy.
Okay, well maybe you shouldn't have made me hold the UFO dirt.
I can't blame him. Dolls are kind of creepy.
It's just dirt, bro.
I hate you.
It was also the crash site. It wasn't where the guy got abducted from.
Oh, it's a I don't like that. Okay.
All right, Brian, let's hear where it's from.
Brian, tell me how cooked I am.
So, I found where the 2019 event in Oregon was, and it was at Highland Hills Ranch. Do you know where that is, Daphne?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
It is. Let me look. It is about 20 miles outside of Hepburn.
All right, Brian, the joke's got a little too long. Where is it actually?
In reality, it is not at what was it? Highland Hills Ranch. It is probably about. I'll
We
check
baited
real quick.
you.
You're so mean.
Dude.
In reality, that cow event was at a forest reserve in Sylvie's Valley Ranch. It's about 150 miles south of Heppner, Oregon.
Okay, that's still
So
closer
about
than I'd like for it to be.
7 times further than it.
So-
I originally
So
said.
I
I dead ass.
Me and Tucker came up with
was
that.
like,
while
I was
Daphne
like,
in
Brian,
the
I was like,
bathroom.
Brian, we should tell her that that it was close, and he's like, I'm already looking up ranches near Hefner. So, how close is that to Condon, Oregon?
Condon? How do you spell that?
CONDON.
C-O-N? Also about 150 miles,
Okay.
just more northwest instead of north.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. You're welcome, Daphne. Anyways,
That's so mean. I was about to be like, fucking not
we had to do it for the bit, you know.
For the
All right.
vibe.
Yeah. Anyways,
Absolutely not.
I will pass the mic to you so you can do your
Okay.
spooky ghost section.
Hello, friends. Tucker, can you put the password in on your computer?
Yeah, I think I could.
I'll be right back.
Hi. Oh,
You want us to pause the recording?
You're good. I'll be back in like
Brian's going pee.
No, I'm not.
He's going
He's
piss.
thirsty. Now the door's open, so the sound can be ruined.
He's going pee.
You know, the cat isn't actually leaving though. She's kind of just chilling. We have the cat in here now, by the way.
She's been living here for like a month.
No, I mean in the room.
I know,
Get
but
the cat on the mic.
Get the cat on the mic.
Biz Budson?
Biz Budson, she just bent my blinds again. She keeps
Yeah.
trying to shove her head through them.
Yeah, she broke the blinds at the previous apartment that I just moved out
really
of.
Dumb.
So true.
Welcome back, Brian.
Hello.
How was your tinkle?
I'm definitely
I
just-
wiped my nose.
I'm gonna cut all this out. There's no point. Get to just
That's fair.
you just get on with it.
Okay, so you took us to New York.
I did,
Brian took us all across the country.
including Oregon, Eastern Oregon.
I'm never sleeping again.
You're cooked.
I'm sorry.
Especially because from what you've told me, this one that you've been talking about actually gave you like the hib. Maybe that's why you had the nightmare last night. It's been giving you the hibbly
Did
jibbles.
you not research this until today, though?
No, it was floating around in my brain for a while.
Okay. So you had the idea. It was
Yeah.
brewing.
Okay. So I'm taking you. We're hopping across the pond.
Pond.
Europe.
Yeah.
Just laid there, and I was like, "This across the pond, not
What do you mean by that?
Expound. We're going to England.
England.
All
England.
the places in Europe. England.
Okay.
We could be
Listen,
in Finland right now.
I
He's
wish I was at
spitting.
Finland
There
right
is
now.
no.
Finland sounds fire.
You know, all I'm saying.
You ever
I
been to
haven't heard-
Finland?
I have no. I haven't
I
heard
have.
of any cow mutilations in Finland. Nobody's
Brian's like, let me Google that real quick.
Actually, in 2005.
I'm here to tell you the story of the Borley Rectory. And it was once upon a time, and still is sometimes regarded as the most haunted house in England.
What's a rectory?
So a rectory is a building accompanying alongside a church where typically the priest and or nuns would live.
Oh yeah. The only reason I know about what that is now that you brought that up is because mega church pastors will like label mansions as rectories so they can live in
Yes.
them, which is cringe, by the way. If you're a mega pastor living in
Yeah, all the
listening to
mega
this,
pastors that are listening to us
screw
right now.
you. Anyway,
Anyway.
That does sound like a place that would be haunted,
Car,
though.
cat.
Car is the cat.
Miss Hudson.
car.
Let's get you into a car.
Okay, but like get on to the haunted stuff.
Okay, sorry. We've been yabbering. Okay,
do is
so the Borley Rectory, also known as the most haunted house in England, is built and existed and still exists in Borley, Essex. And this is a town with, as of 2021, only has 110 residents. It is an insanely tiny town.
Interesting.
And
Must
it
be
is...
a reason.
It is an hour
Maybe
and
it's haunted.
it's an hour and 34 minutes northeast of London, or 71 miles.
Interesting.
So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And there's like one road that passes through. There's no parking. There's no like whatever.
Sounds about right for
and-
a town that small.
They're pretty kind of hostile to outsiders because of how big this story got. They don't like people poking around.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I can understand that.
like it's really hard to like investigate the area because there's like
People aren't a fan.
people are like really not okay with outsiders poking around their space, which
Yeah.
honestly I kind of get. You're in
Yeah.
a tiny town, you want to be left alone.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So it is so the rectory itself is a Gothic building with ties all the way back to the 12th century, also with the church specifically that it is accompanying with. So the church has roots that go back towards the 12th century, and the cat
It's full on
Is-
just went behind my blinds.
she just Miss Hudson.
That was funny, if nothing else.
I swear to God, she's gonna knock the lamp over.
I hope she doesn't unplug your mic.
Knowing her, she'd probably do that.
Do you want me to go over there?
No, it's fine. We're just gonna let
likes
it,
looking out the window.
Let it happen.
So true.
So the building was built in 1862 on top of the grounds of a previous
Cemetery?
a monastery.
There's still a lot of dead people there.
Yeah, it was built on Hallward. So the church that accompanies it, the Borley Church, is across the road, and it is extremely old. As I said, mentioning going all the way back to the 12th century. The rectory isn't that old, but it was built on top of a previous monastery / rectory that was there before. So the previous one burned, and then
they built a new one.
And then they built a new one on top of it.
Okay.
It was alleged to be haunted from the time it was built.
Interesting.
Like as soon as they built it, it was haunted.
That's a horrible sign.
I know. So it was built by Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis Bull. His last name is Bull.
That's a cool last name.
And he moved. So he's the one that built it because he was the preacher. He was the pastor at the church. So he moved in 1 year
for sure
after being named the rector of the parish. So yeah, so the previous one, here I have it written down. This is a little out of order. So the previous one was destroyed in a fire in 1841.
Okay.
So you had about a 20-year gap where there wasn't a rectory there, and then they built another one on top of it. So the legend of the area goes that at one point a Benedictine monastery was built in the area and or existed in the area near the church or the rectory, and it was built sometime in and around 1362. What are you laughing at?
Brian's making funny faces at me.
You made one first, to be fair. Anyways, it
Boys!
was built in 1362.
Okay.
Listening.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
No.
With the rectory aboard.
Yes. He picked up all the ghosts and brought them back.
With the monk ghosts, yeah. So apparently at this monastery there was a monk that had a relationship with a nun from a nearby convent. Very not cool. Very scandalous. Can't do that. So
Scandals always lead to a good murder with a ghost.
True.
Don't you know it? Because apparently, after the affair was discovered, the monk was hung in the gallows of the monastery, and the nun was bricked up behind a wall while still alive in the convent.
What?
Allegedly, they bricked her up behind a wall
First two ghosts in
to suffocate and starve to death.
So they were like,
You guys can't be having sex.
Instead of being like, probably shouldn't do that. We're gonna have to kick you out. They're like, nah, you're dead behind the wall.
They're
Goodbye.
like, we're hanging you till you're
Masonry.
dead, and then we're putting the woman behind a wall to suffocate and starve to
Monk's
death.
like, I feel like it's a little extreme, guys. I mean, I just want to. Can I just have a normal life? Nah, you're done.
Yeah, so this was all just for breaking their vows and falling in love.
Average crime punishment before, like, the 19th century.
Yeah, it's clearly all the woman's fault.
Of course.
Yeah.
She's the devil's temptress.
Yeah, I know.
That's why she was bricked up behind a wall.
We could not contain her.
No. I hope you can hear that on the mic.
I wonder if they burned the corpse.
Behind a wall, probably not.
No.
Maybe the monk?
I mean, they could have pulled the corpse back out of the wall, though.
But okay, so this is all according to legend, but classic, there's absolutely no historical evidence to back this up.
Wow, what a surprise.
There's also no records of a monastery being in the area at all. This is just like something. Yeah, this is part of the legend. They're like, oh yeah, back in the day there was a monastery that was here, and then this is what happened. But there's no record that there was even that there in the first place.
Interesting.
So it is 99.999% completely made up. But it does romanticize the story and does give context to what's later going to come.
Oh.
So anyway,
that's the beginning.
That's a
the
bad
rectory.
sign.
Over the course of the rectory being used, there were 4 rectors that lived there along with their wives and children. And this is a little bit hard for me to wrap my brain around because I was raised Catholic and priests can't get married and or have children. So this is not Roman Catholic. I don't know if this is, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's Protestant. I don't know what's going on.
One of the religions.
One of the religions of all time.
That's probably offensive.
So the haunting allegedly started immediately post-construction, as soon as they moved in. And this is the first guy, the first Reverend Bull, the first one. And it started with unexplained footsteps throughout the entire building.
As you do.
As classic.
As one goes.
There were
OG.
also frequent sounds of a baby crying that could never be found. And there's no context for that. Nobody knows anything about where the baby came from.
Baby crying.
Oh my God.
Babies crying is one.
Imagine the nun got pregnant
I
and
was
then
gonna
that's why
say,
she got killed.
Dude, imagine being like locked up in there and you give birth behind the wall, and that's why there's a baby crying.
Oh my God. That's horrific.
That's awful.
That's horror
That
movie
is-
shit.
Imagine to like sustain herself, she eats the baby.
Why would you say that? Cut this out.
No,
Cut this out, Tucker.
absolutely not.
We're going to hell.
This is content.
We're going to hell.
You know what would be funny? If she ate.
I don't know if that'd be funny. I couldn't explain why.
I
there's
was
a baby.
thinking it, but you were the one that said it.
Guys, I've got some great content.
That's some Game of Thrones type
This
shit.
really won't get us demonetized.
That is some Game of Thrones type shit.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's horrific. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, a baby
Baby
crying.
crying, yeah. Which, what I was gonna say is that is one of the scariest, like, ghost noises.
Oh
in my
yeah,
opinion.
no, ghost.
Can we
children,
also
like,
can we also just
imagine
talk about
some-
how I hate
I like
I-
child ghosts.
I mean the sound of a baby crying, a live baby crying, already terrible noise.
Even worse if
The
it's,
worst-
like, ominous through a wall.
Yeah.
Like muffle. Ooh.
Yeah, like muffled.
Well, because then you have also the added thing where it's like you want to almost like comfort it, but you can't find it, and so then you feel like bad about it
Well,
because then you feel like the
thing is,
baby's
if I
just
couldn't
alone.
Find it, and I actually searched everywhere, and it still sounded like it was all around me. I'd start feeling very uncomfortable with it,
Yeah.
especially if it wasn't stopping. The other one that's really bad is like little girl laughing.
True.
The little
was
giggle. Well, we've said it before. We'll say it again.
Yeah,
Little
that
kids
Creepy.
giggling.
Don't like it.
That one's
Not a
terrible.
fan.
Okay, so we're like 6 bullets in.
How many bolts do you have?
I have 3 pages.
600.
Have fun with this, Tucker.
I mean, I probably had like 30 or
I'm
40.
cooked, bro.
Okay.
We are almost 2 hours into this goddamn
That's
video.
the special edition episode.
Y'all are gotta help me with this, dude. I can't do this by myself.
So on July 28th, 1900, Bull's 4 daughters saw a nun around twilight walking 40 yards away from the house. And one sister tried to approach and talk to the nun, but then she vanished into thin air. And they watched her walk across the garden, all 4 of them.
Wait, so
And these were like grown women.
twilight is around the time when like the sun's just setting, right?
So it's like bright enough out
So
that
they
you can
saw
see it.
a lady.
She had her head down. She had her abbot. She had
Oh,
like the whole
Shebang.
shebang. She was clearly a nun, and they watched her walk across the garden.
So, and one of them-
and one of them, and they were in a group, and one of them like tried to approach her and be like, "Hey," and she evaporated in front of them.
You know what would be even worse is if she like turns towards them. Like it's like walking.
Like she
perpendicular.
acknowledged
She can't
them.
see them, acknowledges them, looks at them.
and then just.
Apparently, there was no like acknowledgement from the nun. She just like
I
vanished.
don't like that.
Honestly, both of those are bad though.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse. I'd rather it not see me. Don't look at me.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that.
And that- yeah, it just goes.
Imagine since. Have you heard of those stories where
Not like
there's like a rift in time where like somebody's looking into the past and people from the past are looking into the future, so like they think they're seeing a ghost, but the people that are there are looking into the future, and then they think that they're seeing a ghost, and so then they're seeing each other.
Interesting.
Have you heard of those stories?
I think now that you say it, yeah. it
It's
sounds
like
familiar.
crazy. It's like you look at a
least
ghost.
then
It's
they
like, and they
both
look at
be
you with
scared of
shock.
each other.
Because
True.
they look at you with shock, like what they're like looking at you, like what the fuck is that, and you're looking at them, going, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like when they can see me.
Yeah.
Good night.
Fair enough.
They acknowledge or something. Imagine she turned just like pointed
She's
at
like,
him.
you.
You did this.
Even worse if it's like the like old shaky hand.
Yeah, it's like you can see the bones like creaking in there.
yeah, or like a slightly like angled finger, just like
Okay, we're now on bullet point 7. You guys, come on, we
right.
got it.
God, we're cooked.
You are the ones that won't shut up.
right on. Fair
Okay,
enough.
It's banter.
Also,
Banter is the
locals have claimed to have seen a horse-drawn carriage manned by headless horsemen on the grounds on multiple occasions.
That's kind
in
of
the dark.
metal though.
That is metal as shit.
Horse-drawn carriages are always kind of
Horse
With
drawn
headless
carriages with-
horsemen.
fair.
So were the horses also headless?
No, the horses are fine.
The horses are fine? Alright, then it
The-
doesn't really matter.
Only the dudes on the carriage.
I mean, as long as he's chill, I'd pay him still.
So actually, the first Reverend Bull died in 1892. So this big sighting of the
1892?
Yeah.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
No, you're 400 years off. But then his son, Henry Bull, took over. So he was actually in charge while this whole thing went down. So he is now the second reverend that's there, and he's the one that's actually around while this is happening.
I feel like the great-great-grandson is going to get haunted by, like, all of his ancestors.
That has got to be a movie. That's a Christmas Carol.
But anyway, so the son actually took over. So he was the second reverend, and like he like immediately took over after his father's passing. And then he also took over the parish, but things
you
just
kinda
kind
have
of
to have a
generally
priest.
continued. You just had like weird like creaks and footsteps, but like the big thing was seeing the nun, and then also like other sightings from the small town of people like looking in and being like, what the hell is that? And then things going on the grounds, because this is on an 11-acre plot.
Oh, okay.
It's a very weird shaped plot. It's like a big pointy arrow, and it progressively gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and trails off along the road. It's weird. It's a weird shaped area, but it's still a pretty big area considering the town is so small.
You already know there's a crazy-ass ghost on one end of this arrow.
True.
It's actually pointing towards the scariest ghost.
The haunting?
As you get...
It's the boss ghost.
This plot of land is actually a Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's a
arena.
boss arena. It like points. Imagine this like collective all the ghosts. So you got like it's like a headless nun horseman that also has a baby.
It's a nun that's a
Your baby
horse,
crying.
and she has no head.
The baby is also headless.
God damn.
But it's not
Final
like
boss is the baby if it actually had lived and grown up.
that is a Dark Souls boss. It's in like armor stuff. Wah!
Stop.
You didn't comfort me when I was
about
crying.
the headless baby.
Anyways.
And you're like, my section always takes longer because we talk more. You wanted this.
You're the one that won't shut up now, so this is
True.
all you're doing.
That's because Brian's here. He brings me out of my shell.
You're welcome.
So, anyway, so this guy, Henry Bull, the son, he was in charge from 1892 to 1927, and then he passed away. And then it was taken over by another reverend, can you guess? And his name was Guy Eric Smith. Reverend Smith. And his wife. They moved into the rectory.
What's her name, girl?
She is unnamed.
Damn.
Can you imagine? Oh my god, Guy, that'd be Guy
be
Girl. That'd be so funny.
I would, if that's mean to name your child girl. Continue, please.
So they moved into the rectory in 1928, so the year after the son died. So the second bull. So this is interesting. So shortly after moving in, while cleaning, the wife found a human skull of a woman wrapped in brown paper in the back of a closet.
Interesting.
Like heavily referenced. I have not seen a single thing debunking this or saying that it's. I don't know.
They found a skull.
They found a skull of a woman
I feel like the more recent
wrapped
we
in
get as
paper
well, the more like
in the back of a
documented
closet.
stuff's gonna be as well.
and apparently.
Interesting.
And she was just like, they were like moving in, so she was just like routinely like dusting and cleaning to unpack their stuff. And she opens up this wrapped package to find a human skull.
Semi-recent.
Yeah. But then it's also like, did one of the bulls put it in there? Like, how long did they even know it was there?
The spirit world.
I don't know. But apparently, so the discovery.
When was this specific reverie built again?
It was built in, hold on, I have to scroll all the way back up, 1862.
Okay.
So
unless someone didn't know there was a skull in this package, fairly recent.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the discovery of the skull is thought to be the Kickstarter of much of the paranormal activity. So there was already some weird bumps in the night and some weird shit going on, but then it like very quickly ramped up. So there were servants' bells that would routinely ring, although the lines between rooms had long been cut, but the bells would still ring for different rooms, like those strings were being pulled. But there's no way that that's possible because the strings weren't connected, but the bells were still ringing. And these aren't bells that like anybody could just bump into. They're high up, like on the wall.
It's something you'd be like, oh, I need, like a change of towels or whatever here.
You're not gonna bump it. No.
That's not a...
Intentionally.
No.
So, and the wife, Mrs. Smith, also claimed to see a horse-drawn carriage on the property at night. So,
Interesting. I don't know if you've said this or not. Does the horse-drawn carriage make noise, or is it just see
I
it?
haven't seen any references that mention it making noise. I think it's just them seeing it.
Imagine you
I
walk
don't
around
like
That
that.
it's silent.
Imagine if you're like walking around like late at night, like it's just gotten dark. You're about to walk into the house or the reverie.
Yeah.
For the night, and you walk around the corner and there's just a horse-drawn carriage like going along.
I
No,
don't
like, you don't
like
hear
that
it before.
at all.
I think the fact that it would... I'm imagining it being silent, and that's even scarier
I
to
really
me.
That's what I'm saying.
dislike
Like, you
that.
you don't hear anything. You walk around the corner, normal night. and
It's
then,
just
like,
there.
40 feet in front of you, like coming roughly.
Ooh, no.
No noise. That is hell.
Ugh.
My ass is not going out at night for the next few days.
At all, bro.
So this was all freaking him out so much that the Smiths reached out to a newspaper called the Daily Mirror, and they asked to be put in touch with the Society of Psychical Research. Have
Okay.
either of you heard of this?
Nope.
It is a very well-renowned, quote-unquote, scientific industry that delves into the paranormal in a more scientific kind of way. They're supposed to be the most well-renowned people
Interesting.
that do it, and they're in England. And there's like spin-off groups that are like all across
Oh, okay.
the world. We have a couple in the US.
Cool.
But this is like the OG like ghost
The
hunting
founders.
crew. Yeah. So they were able to get in touch with the Society of Psychical Research, and Harry Price got involved. So do you guys know who Harry
Nope.
Price is? Okay. So Harry Price, for a little bit of backstory, he is a very, very, very big figure in the paranormal world. He is a member of the Society of Psychical Research. I think he might be one of the founders. I could be wrong, though. But he is a physicist who married a woman who was very, very rich and then used all of her money to go fuck around and do whatever he wanted. And he spent a lot of his time debunking a lot of alleged hauntings and like mediums, because he was
Okay.
also a magician in of himself and a really good trickster.
Oh, no, I have heard about this guy.
He's not Harry Houdini,
Yeah.
and he's not blah, blah, but he spends, so he like goes, he's basically like, he was like the Warrens before the Warrens were a thing. He would
Yeah.
like get called out. It's like, who are you gonna call? Henry Price or Harry Price.
He does not have a cool enough name to be that
Who are you gonna
cool.
call? Harry Price.
Does he have a title?
I mean, he's a physicist.
Doctor.
That's pretty good. I
Yeah,
suppose.
Dr. Who. Yeah. So he would go to these places that were like allegedly haunted and conduct scientific-ish
Interesting.
tests and interviews, and also he would end up debunking a lot of things that turned out to be fake. So he gained quite a bit of notoriety in the time. But as soon as he set foot in that house, there was an immediate increase in activity, which amplified all the way up to throwing of stones and smashing of glassware. So you
Oh.
get like pebbles and rocks thrown at people, and then also like glassware and dishes would like fly across the room and shatter, or you'd exit a room and then you'd hear a crash behind you and there'd be like a glass that had fallen in the
That's
middle
just
of the room.
annoying.
I know. It's like, man, that's my good china.
Yeah. Stop. Scare me all you want. Don't break my stuff.
Don't stop. Man,
The silent carriage is one thing.
I can't wait for the slamming doors.
we'll get to it.
That's the best part.
And
Wham,
then
wham, wham.
as soon as Price left, the additional activity immediately then stopped.
Oh, so they didn't like him.
No, apparently.
Interesting.
But the
Wonder how that
wife
works.
at the time, Mrs. Smith, then later came out and accused
Like him of
Harry
faking
Price,
it?
yeah, of like being a part of it and like just coming in there, fucking around, and then leaving.
Did say he was a magician.
Yeah,
True. That'd be a pretty sick act.
it's weird because on some accounts, Mr. Price is like trying to be like scientific about it, but on the other hand, he's somebody who has like an overactive imagination and like quickly can also just like get a little excited about things. and
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
blow
as
things
you
out of
do with a
proportion.
hobby. When you're passionate about
Yeah,
something.
I think it's. I think you kind of have to take it with a huge grain of salt, though.
Yeah.
So the Smiths left Borley in July of 1929. So now we're moving on to the what are we on? Fourth guy.
Yes.
Yes.
We are now moving on to Reverend Lionel Foister. And he is actually a first cousin of the Bull family.
Oh,
so
cool.
We're coming full circle. We're going companies back in the family, back in family hands.
Haunted by the old family.
So he moved in October 16th, 1930, and he moved in with his wife, Marianne, and adopted daughter, Adelaide. Adelaide? Yeah. I keep wanting to say Adele, and that's not right. So again, Adelaide, Adelaide.
Yeah, it's Adelaide.
The Australian city.
He's right.
Listen, I don't know anything about geography. I'm sorry.
We know.
So kind of the same thing. Immediately picked up servant bells ringing, and they didn't have any explanation for that. There were also, this is horrific, and I actually have a picture to show you to go along.
Oh no!
Horrific pictures. She's gonna one up mine.
I'm not gonna want to.
Oh no, yours were pretty. That horse one was pretty graphic.
That horse one.
That
Poor
was.
Skippy.
That's what I thought. I hadn't really found any good pictures at that point, and I saw that, and I was like, holy.
Okay, so what started happening when these last group of people moved in. Okay, sorry, I had to find a picture. Okay, we're back. There started to be messages scrawled on walls and mirrors addressed to Marianne, and there's pictures.
That's the wife.
Yes. So
Ooh.
these are the pictures
They don't like the wife, apparently.
of Marianne, please help. Marianne, light mass prayers. Marianne, as weather worth me. And then she'd write back, I cannot understand, please tell me more. Because these are scrawled on so horrifically and scribbled onto the walls that, like, she's trying to communicate with this thing as it's writing on the walls.
Wait. So it's writing and she writes on it too?
Yes.
Absolutely not!
And there was allegedly a time where they had another guy visit and they watched it like right onto the wall.
No!
And there was like no hand. It just like all of a sudden like the message was just like shakily appearing on the wall.
That's awful.
I know. I hate it. And it's also like on mirrors and glass and also just on the walls itself in like scrawled
That
ink.
is terrible.
On a mirror is insane.
Imagine you go to take a hot shower and you come back out and it's like, help me.
By the way,
After a shower, no.
you can actually do that. If your thing is fogged up and you write something on it, the next time it'll fog up, it'll actually cling less onto those areas.
Yeah, I do that in hotel rooms sometimes just for funsies.
Just
You
describe
scratch.
the next
Help
incident.
me! Free us!
Yeah, so that freaked me out a lot. Absolutely terrifying, especially because
that's fair.
we're gonna circle back to this because those messages are gonna become important.
You know what's crazy though?
It all comes full circle.
That wall looked like the same color as ours. In this very room.
Good night. Good night.
Had to
Good night,
say
Tucker.
that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Tucker,
Yeah.
you're getting kicked off the
Say
podcast.
goodnight.
I'll make my own podcast.
Oh my god.
Then you have to edit it yourself.
I already edited myself.
So, going along with that, there was just general, like, increased poltergeist-like activity,
So, like,
specifically
movement
focused
stuff.
on Marianne. And it was assumed later that Marianne was either subconsciously or consciously, like, contributing to it, because there's this theory that, like, poltergeists lack onto,
People.
yeah, they like latch onto like female energy and like weird it's like always women and like young women specifically that like
Female energy.
yeah, poltergeists really like women for some reason.
I wish I got some female energy.
Unfortunately.
Maybe I'm a poltergeist.
I don't know, just start aimlessly throwing dishes against the wall and then
Is
we'll
that
talk
how
about
you
it.
woo women? You break dishes in
Listen,
their home?
as a
Try
woman
yelling at them too.
Yeah, shakily writing
scrawling
messages on the wall.
shaky ass messages on the wall.
Will you go on a date with me?
I love you and your skin. There were also more stones and more glassware being thrown. But Marianne seemed to be at the main focus of the poltergeist activity, and she was at one point completely thrown from her bed while she was sleeping and attacked by an unseen force on multiple occasions.
Leave.
Sorry.
Literally just
Go
move.
home.
I am
Oh
out
wait,
of there.
leave. Yeah, go stay with your mom.
Literally move.
So at also one point, Adelaide was locked in a room with a door that didn't have a lock on it. So like the door wouldn't open, and they were like, it shouldn't be able to lock, but they weren't able to open the door, and their young daughter
That's freaky. I don't
was
like that.
trapped in a room.
I'm not
and
a
then
fan
like
of that.
as soon as it started, they were like immediately they didn't just like able to open it, no problem. But it's like something was purposefully holding it shut.
Dude, I'd jump a ghost for that.
And then at one point, I only found a couple mentions of this, and it mentioned that Adelaide was once attacked by quote, something horrible with no other explanation along with that. But so it is
That's
now,
vague.
it's attacking the wife and it's attacking the young daughter. And she was like little.
Something horrible is not very descriptive.
It's not very
Yeah.
descriptive, but it's,
The baby.
I don't know. Listen. Enough about the baby.
Floating baby.
Floating.
Good night.
That would actually be so freaky.
So, Foister tried twice to exorcise the building, and both times were unsuccessful. Granted, he was not experienced. During the first exorcism, he was hit on the shoulder by a fist-sized rock that just got like thrown across the room and
Where
hit him in
did
the
they
shoulder.
find a fist-sized rock?
I don't know. It's like a big-ass rock.
The
Just,
ghost is like,
clocked him in the
dude, that
shoulder."
guy's back. He's like sprinting out the door. He's like, oh my god, this is gonna be so cool.
And then all of these incidents were reported to the Daily Mirror and then related back to Harry Price.
Interesting.
So they actually, the Foisters were also like in contact with Harry Price directly. Like they were
Okay.
like, he was constantly writing letters and being like, "You will not believe the kind of shit that's going on here."
Yeah.
Yo, last week was
So-
crazy.
We'll circle back to this, but it was later found out that the wife was having an affair with one of the people that was living in the house. Because while the house is big enough, so this is a thing where like parishes will often have like
multiple
housing.
families.
Well, no, like housing for people that like need it and they also live in the rectory. So it's like rectory housing for
So what you're saying is the ghost was the good guy in this.
What I'm saying is that the wife was making up bumps in the night as a different kind of bumps in the night.
Damn.
If you catch my drift.
There was
Making
a
up bumps in the night to cover the bumping in the night.
there was definitely a quote unquote poltergeist. Something was getting thrown. I tell you what.
But that didn't come out until later when she admitted it.
Maybe this something horrible was just a dude.
But
Just, like,
that
jumped a
still
kid.
doesn't explain the weird
Thrown
things that were
out of
happening.
the
But like
bed.
Like the
things,
writing.
weird things were happening before they moved in, and things
Yeah.
continued to happen after. I think she just exaggerated a lot of the occurrences to cover up the fact that she was.
When she's like make stuff up, the ghosts in the room with them. It's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do that. You're framing me.
She pulled out the I got thrown out of bed when it was really getting thrown around in the bed.
How did you wake up in that other man's bed 2 doors down? Must have been the
Got
ghost.
thrown
I
through
just
the
I
wall.
just astro projected through
Must
this
have
wall.
been the ghost. I don't know what
I
to tell
don't.
you.
I don't know what to tell you, honey. Sorry.
I don't make the rules.
So they ended up moving out in 1935.
Took 'em long enough.
Yeah,
Real?
they were there. They were
Actually,
there.
that's probably why they didn't
I mean,
move
they were
out.
only there for 5 years, but it was because
5 years too many, am I right?
I would have been out within like a week.
of course, apparently, the Reverend just was in poor health and just couldn't keep up with the parish and moved out. And
And also, his
later-
house is extremely haunted.
Yeah. So
Cook.
the rectory then after that remained unoccupied for many years, and funny enough, the parish had a really hard time finding another priest.
I wonder why.
Because they're like, hey, you guys want to come be our priest? You want to move into this rectory that definitely isn't haunted and doesn't definitely have a nun buried in the basement? And everybody's like, no.
Buried in the brick walls.
Absolutely
Absolutely not.
Abs-
terribly dreadful.
By Jove, absolutely not.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
So do you think the ghost took a break around tea time?
Yeah, they're like mid jump scare, and they're like, wait.
Hold up, mid message.
I need my tea.
It just, you know how the writing's all scrawly. Imagine like mid message, like goes to, like perfect handwriting, like tea time. Be back in 15 minutes.
It's like, oh,
Time for tea. Like it's like you know in the show Tom and Jerry when Tom and Jerry are messing around, they're like trying to kill each other, and then they like stop, they like have a meal together randomly.
they're like, oh,
They're like actually friends, and then they go back to being like trying to smash each other with hammers.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine it was. Because this is kind of scary, and I'm coping a little bit.
So we're throwing the ball back into the court of Harry Price. He's back, baby.
Yo,
Because time number 2, we're back at it. So the rectory remained unoccupied for many years. Duh, no shit, because nobody wanted to move in.
Yep.
And then Harry Price was like, "Hey, I'm a guy with a lot of money because I married a rich woman, and I'm also a physicist, and also write a lot of books, so I also have a lot of money. So I'm going to do this funny, quirky, little fun thing where I'm going to rent this place for a year, and I'm going to move in. And I'm not just going to move in, okay? I'm going to bring 48 observers, mostly students, to live in the building at different times. They circulate people out so that it's not like a full-time gig. They like have teams of people, mostly on weekends, to report any strange activity and conduct various experiments."
That's actually so awesome.
He put out a ad in the newspaper for basically anybody who was curious. He's like, "Hey guys, I have this funny little quirky little experiment, and I just need people to help run it for me. Do you have nothing better to do? Come join me."
Sounds like a social experiment.
I would do this.
I know, but it's just like,
that one of them's gonna be like a freaking serial killer.
Yeah.
so what ended up happening is not a whole lot of much of anything, actually. There was,
Damn, so it's fake?
other than a couple like weird bumps in the night, there was nothing really that notable, except for what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, brother!
Okay, so in March 1938, there was this gal. Her name's Helen, and she was the daughter of one of Price's helpers. And she was just like popping in. She's like, "Hey, I'm
visit my dad.
I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring." And she conducted a planchette seance,
What's that?
a Ouija board seance.
Yeah, so a planchette is a little, the little
It's
thing that
the
like goes
heart-shaped
over the
thing
letters.
with
That's
the
a
hole
planchette.
in it.
A little like ring thing.
And she reported.
Uh-oh.
So Price reported that she made contact with 2 spirits. So he was there apparently when this
Only
happened.
2?
So she made contact with 2 spirits. The first one was allegedly the spirit of a young nun who identified herself as Marie Lairre, Lairre. I'm just gonna call her Marie.
Okay.
And so, according to the story and this seance and talking to Marie, she was a French nun who left her religious order and traveled to England to marry a guy. Good for her.
Cool.
We love that. Then she, in this Ouija board session, reveals that she was then murdered in the older building that was once on site of the old Borley Rectory. So in the previous one, that I mentioned it was built on top of the one that burned down?
Yeah.
So she then is like, I don't know if she's talking in French.
I came from England.
I came from France and I came here to
I
England
can't
to
do a very
marry
good
a
French
man.
accent, I'm sorry.
And then so she's like, I was murdered and they buried me in the cellar and or into a well.
What do you mean?
And or into a well.
Interesting.
I don't know. She was either buried in the cellar or she was in the well. I guess she couldn't figure it out. Listen,
I mean, fair enough.
She's probably talking in French. Nobody knows what's going on.
They're like,
huh? They got to pull out their little Webster's dictionary and flip through and like figure out what she's trying to say.
Didn't you say the first building was built like a few years before this current one in 1862 though? So I feel like that's not the same one as the alleged nun from like the 13th century.
Yeah.
So like the one that was
This
married
is
to the
now
monk that
an,
got
so
mauled in.
that's the legend of the older nun. Now there's this story of another
This
nun,
is
more
theoretically a
recent
different nun.
Why is there so
most
many
likely.
ghost nuns in this place?
We'll get to it. So
Oh no.
What do you mean we'll get to it?
the second spirit,
Reason.
because okay, that was spirit number 1. We had Marie. Thanks, babes. She came and told us her story. She's like, yeah, I was murdered. My body is buried somewhere under this rectory because it was in the old one.
You should find
burned
it. That
down.
would be cool.
If you could find it, that'd be great. So, you know how she mentioned that she was buried in a cellar and or a well?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember those
Definitely a
messages
well.
that were scrawled on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On several occasions, it mentioned being dumped into a well.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Or being uncomfortable with water, or something about drowning, was some things that they were able to pick out of these scrawled messages on the walls.
So
So the messages on the walls were referencing being dumped in a well,
implying she might have been drowned.
implying she just might have been dumped in there.
yikes.
And also a lot of the messages, as I pointed to here, say, please help, and need rest, and can't free, or whatever, like weird notes directed back at Marianne. So now this is coming full circle. So we're tying the pieces together. Are you imagining the red string?
No,
Okay.
I don't wanna.
Okay, well, now we're moving on to the second spirit.
This one's like the only ghost you've brought up that's actually been kind of
I
scary.
feel like this spirit's gonna be straight up malicious, this second one.
This second spirit is a guy, and he claimed, it's a man, the second spirit, again, this is the same Ouija board session, claimed that he would set fire to the rectory at 9 o'clock that night, the 27th of March, 1938. That didn't happen.
Man, coward.
However,
Uh-oh.
You don't have the ball.
jumping ahead to February 27th, 1939, so this is right after Harry Price moves out, there is a fire.
Of course there is.
So now that Harry Price, his lease is up, he has moved out. There's this guy, Captain C.W. Gregson, accidentally knocked over an oil lamp, and the house quickly caught fire. So even though it is 1939, this building does not have electricity, does not have gas heating, it does not have running water.
Ooh.
You have to get water out of the well. We're circling back to the well. But anyway, so this, because everything had to be lit by oil lamps and things like that,
Yeah.
he was moving in and he was unpacking his stuff, and an oil lamp tipped over. Now, the insurance company investigated and found that the fire was started a bit suspiciously and thought to be deliberate, though there was no drawn-out conclusion. I don't know if he actually settled an insurance claim on it. But during the fire, a neighbor that was watching as it burned claimed to see the figure of a nun standing in the upstairs window.
God.
Of course.
Imagine if the nun was looking at you.
Okay,
And there's like flames
so
behind
now
her.
you know how conveniently, now that this place has burned down for the second time.
No, they built another one, huh?
Okay, so you know how now that the cellar's exposed.
They found a body, didn't they?
So we're coming back for the third time. Harry Price, he's back, baby.
He's like,
And he said, he rolled up his sleeves and he said,
This Harry
"Give me,
Price guy, he can't get enough
give
of
me,
this.
give me just a second. I'm gonna dig around in here." And you will not believe what he found.
it's a body, huh?
2 bodies, probably.
He found 2 bones, just 2, part of a jaw,
Okay.
and I think a rib, or something weird. And he was like, "Holy shit. Oh my god, it's the woman. We did it. Solve the case. Everybody, I'm gonna write a book about this. It's gonna be great." Turns out, it was a pig.
He's the
It was what?
It was a pig. A pig body.
not know Dave.
However,
Oh,
the
no.
bones were still interned at the cemetery, just in case.
Fair enough, honestly.
So they had a little ceremony, and they buried the bones.
Good for them.
Then, in 1944, the building was demolished because it was extremely badly damaged during the fire.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, it was this old, like, brick building, but, like, the roof is gone, all the floors are gone. So it's basically like the skeleton of this house.
Yeah. Ironic.
And during the demolition, Harry Price was there with his team. And he was
Of
just...
course he was there.
Because he's there. He's a big fanboy. Oh, here's a picture of him
Evidently.
digging in the cellar.
Oh,
Look at
cool.
that. Look at him. Digging in the cellar.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, wow. Look at that. By torchlight and
Oh my
everything.
god.
What a cool fellow.
This is a picture of them interring the bones.
Okay.
This is a real thing that happened. I'm assuming they found another reverend. This is a picture that they took during demolition where they didn't notice anything at the time.
Oh,
but
brother.
no, it's not as scary as you think. My God. We have a picture of a brick that's just floating in a doorway.
Huh.
And Harry Price was like, "This is it! It's her!" And then everybody was like,
I-
"Cool, bud."
It's gone, though.
It's
that
gone.
building's gone, bro.
So although the rectory isn't there anymore, the parish still is.
Okay.
And the parish in of itself is also pretty haunted. So it is thought actually that after they interred those bones, even though it was determined to be pig bones, because they were interred on the church graveyard, then all of a sudden activity started to increase in the church.
Ghost pig.
Ghost pig.
Pigly ghost.
So,
ghost.
and also because of all of the attention that this garnered, the parish and also the graveyard is locked and gated, which is actually really unusual for churches to be like really closed off to the public.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be open at all times in theory.
I feel like this is a fine exception.
I agree.
But anyway, so that is the story of the rectory. I could keep talking about this for another couple hours because eventually, many years later, the Warrens investigate.
The goats. Sorry.
The Warrens investigate the chapel and they get some weird pictures. But actually, if
Do you have the
mentioning
pictures?
yes.
I want to see pictures.
Okay, we'll do that later because that's about we're done talking about this part of it. But like the church,
There's more?
I will. Like, I'm not gonna sit here for another 2 hours
Okay.
talking about the church now.
I don't want to edit that, man.
I know. I'm just
We're
telling
already
you
hit
now,
like 2.5.
Might
There's-
turn this into a two-parter.
there's things going on in the church. But if all this mentioning of the nuns is familiar to anybody, this is the inspiration for the Conjuring movie, The Nun.
Oh.
Oh.
Both movies, actually.
Isn't the nun the villain in that one? Mm-hmm. She's not really the villain in this one.
No, she's just kind of there.
Yeah.
So far.
And there's the other one's like, I'm gonna burn the place down.
But allegedly, like, in the church, I don't know, the Warrens are kind of controversial for making a lot of shit up. But
Yeah. Specifically Ed,
The
I believe.
Warrens, another like.
They're like
investigating
really,
paranormal
yeah.
group.
They're
they're
ones-
like, they are part
investigated-
of the Society of Psychical Research going on in
They're very famous.
Nesper, I think.
They did a big thing on the Conjuring House, which had a
Amityville.
movie about that. Amityville. I think were they Annabelle?
Yeah.
They were Annabelle, which is a really popular haunted doll.
Yeah, I know the one.
Pretty much anything to do with the Conjuring universe is
Is
based off
them.
of things that have gone on.
They also made a shitload of money from
Ed
it.
and Lorraine Warren. But anyway, they investigated the chapel or the church and got some weird stuff. And then all this story eventually turned into the inspiration for the nun in the Conjuring universe.
I don't really like that movie.
I've never seen it. It freaks me out. I can't even watch the trailers.
That's
I don't
fair.
like the way her face looks.
Why? Because
I just don't like it.
yeah,
Anything
no.
to do with like religion kind of grosses me out.
Fair enough.
Anywhoosies, that's all I have. We've now been talking for an hour, 2
Can I see the
hours and
pictures?
31
I want
minutes.
to see the pictures of the
Okay,
church.
I have
Fair.
to.
Brian and I can yap while we're waiting.
Okay. hold
Wow, Daphne, that was a really good section.
True, it was.
I actually really like that one a
That
lot.
was interesting.
That is probably, I would say, best work.
Fearless?
Also, like,
Ghost
there's
Heroes?
a ton of videos on YouTube of people, like, investigating. Because you can get, like,
Permission.
special permission. Hold on, I'm desperately trying to find these pictures.
If you can't find them, you can't find them. It's not that big a deal.
I mean, they're somewhere here in my pile of sources.
Yeah.
And there was never a.
Oh, here we go. Nesper. Got it. Borley Church.
There was never another building.
New
built
England
there,
Society of Psychic Research.
Yeah, did they rebuild
Nesper.
the building a third time? Mm-mm. Okay.
It got demolished.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, there would have been more ghost nuns.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Here we go. These are the pictures that Ed and Lorraine Warren got. Here, this is in the
Let's have a
chapel.
look-see.
We have a monk
Oh.
flipping through some pages, and then this.
Okay, is that a
picture.
ghost or is that just a...
No, he was not there. That is a ghost.
Ooh, that's a really good picture.
Yeah, and then here we have. I still can't. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Some sort of figure. This is supposed to be a nun.
I can kind of see. You got the hands up there. There's
Yeah.
the head.
I see what they're.
I can
Oh
see
yeah.
that.
Okay, now that you point that out, that makes it a little bit easier.
I do see what they're looking at.
All photos will be. This
Yikes.
is another ghost on the grounds apparently. Yeah. Also, there's because the church is old as hell, dating back to the 12th century. There's like a old ass cemetery there, and it's spooky. It's so gross. Like some of those old ass tombstones, the ones that are like hella crooked and like.
Oh. They just put rocks in the ground. We're like, here lies whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of just described every tombstone.
Every tombstone ever.
My bad, guys. My
Miss
bad.
Hudson, your thoughts?
Dude, she's zoinked out.
She's so sleepy.
She's been.
Also,
she's
the
been
mic can't
eating
reach.
like that for like
She said, "Girl, we've been sleeping."
Brady door opened, just yoinked her out. This, honestly, probably the best episode so far, guys.
It was pretty good.
Definitely the longest.
Definitely
For
by,
sure.
by far.
By like an hour.
For
Thank you
sure.
so much for listening.
We're not done yet. We
So
gotta
true.
talk. We gotta yap at the
I'm
end. Yap
done
dollars.
talking. I want to go to bed. I have work in the morning.
It's only 1 a.m.
3 minute
It is
gap,
not
so-
1 a.m.
It is.
To be fair, I also.
I have work in the morning.
I have a midterm tomorrow.
What time?
10.
Oh, we're all cooked.
Oh, for sure.
I want to go to sleep.
Dude, honestly, I like the banter we had with Brian.
I liked
was
it.
good.
It was quite enjoyable.
Brian, you had so much.
I
Brian, you just kept going.
I
was
did.
like, this can't get any better.
I did kind of have more than I thought
Expected.
it would end up being. I definitely could have gone through it a bit quicker, but it was funny, so I was fine with it.
I would be fine with changing it to 3 bozos in the bone zone, honestly.
We would just have to be a bit more disciplined about putting in the important stuff.
Or our listeners just get used to hearing us talk for 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Podcasts are longer.
Yeah. I hope you also enjoyed us snacking this whole time.
I hope you can't hear it. We're eating aquarium gravel.
If you're eating it that close to the mic, they'll hear it.
Yeah.
Miss Hudson says meow meow, and Daphne says I'm tired and want to go to bed.
True.
So
Thank you guys for listening.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
This has been 2 bozos in the bone
3
zone.
This is
bozos in
the
the bone
special
zone this
edition.
time.
Special edition.
Special edition.
3 bozos in the bone zone.
Limited edition Brian action figure coming soon. See you guys later.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to 2 Bozos in the Bone Zone, hosted by Daphne Stacy and Tucker Lambing. Cover art by Noah Kachiver and editing by Tucker Lambing. If you like the show, please leave us a rating or a review and or subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at 2bozosinthebonezone@gmail.com. Also, please follow along on our Instagram page, TBITBZ, for photos to go along with stories and to keep up on updates. See you next time. Bye-bye.